Dunks is back. No Dunks is back. Like we never left. Did I say no bunks?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's still Thursday, January 12th, 2023. The boys, we all still have the same name. I'm J.E. Skeets. That's Tass Mellis. That's Trey Kirby. And over there, making the magic happen, super producer JD. Shout out to the stream team. Once again, joining us live on YouTube. We love it. Comment away. Like the video. Subscribe. We are back here to rank all 30 NBA teams. We're going to debate and place them into 5 different tiers, which we'll go over in a second. We did this exercise right before the start of the season, and that pod was a big hit. Did some numbers. And there was one comment in particular that caught my eye from Har1234. They wrote, quote, I think you guys should do a revision show around the halfway point of the season to see if there are any teams you'd like to bump up or down, move, based off what you've seen so far. Great idea, Har1234.
Huge.
Love it. And that's exactly what we're going to do here because we've hit the halfway point of the season. We'll do it again. But I think we should look at how we did our tiers in the preseason show, TK.
Yeah, we absolutely should, so we can know when we look like geniuses and when we look like fools.
Yeah.
We had 5 categories in the preseason. NBA Finals, those are teams that could make a run to the NBA Finals, obviously. Championship contenders. Final Four flirts are a level down from the NBA Finals teams. These are more so teams that we thought could get to the conference finals if everything breaks right for them in their conference. Playoff lock, pretty self-explanatory. We thought these are playoff teams. Play-in potential are the teams who we were a little unsure exactly how they would be looking this season and figuring they're going to be scrapping for that 7 through 10 seed in either conference. And then Area 51, the lowest level of tiers in our breakdown. These are the teams that are in the mix for the alien himself, Victor Wembanyama.
Okay, and that is where we ultimately decided on those 5 tiers in the preseason for all 30 teams.
Yeah, you can see this
wrong
on Twitter. You can see this basically anywhere. You can check our preseason tiers. But I think the most notable one to keep track of is our teams that we thought would make the NBA Finals. We had as the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Clippers.
Okay.
We're going to go through all of the teams in the league by conference first. Eastern Conference, followed by the Western Conference. We'll go alphabetically, which means we're starting here in Atlanta with the Atlanta Hawks. Currently 19-22, 9th in the Eastern Conference. All of these stats are going to be coming to you from Basketball Reference. So they are currently 21st in offensive rating, 14th in defensive rating. In our preseason tier predictions, we had them as a playoff lock. What you guys think?
Well, we're not bumping them up a tier.
We ain't
know
bumping them
that. We know that. It's really a debate about whether they're still a playoff lock or they've dropped Tass Mellis a tier or 2, I guess, at this point. What do you think?
They're not a playoff lock. It's very difficult to put them there. They could get there. The numbers that Trey just dropped, the offense being 21st, lots of room to grow there, obviously.
Way to spin it, man.
Well, if they're going to go anywhere, that has to get better. The fact that they're sort of middle of the pack defensively, solid. That's all you really wanted from them. But the fact that they were second in the offense last year. Trae Young was the offense. The ball was in his hands. Things have changed mightily. We knew that things were going to change somewhat with DeJounte Murray there. They would drop off a little bit because there was only down to go, but not this far. The team though is a real heckle and jive, as we've been saying this week though, and it's difficult to say anything but a play-in potential team. I don't think you can say anything but. That's where they are right now.
Yeah, we were wrong. I guess a lot of people were wrong probably, that we thought if Trae Young was playing and he's healthy in today's NBA with the way he obviously can shoot and set up guys, that you were almost like guaranteed to be one of the better offenses. And you said it, they're not. And that's the crazy part. I mean, they're really struggling to shoot the three-pointer. They're 27th in the league when it comes to three-point percentage. That is quite low. And we were just thinking, yeah, you get an above-average defense or even an average defense with DeJounte Murray coming into the mix here, then they're going to be a good team and they would be a playoff lock. But I'm with you. They got to be bumped down a tier. And a part of it is too that you don't know what Hawks team you're getting from night to night. There's very little consistency, even from quarter to quarter in games. So, yeah, play in. They're going down.
Yeah, I do agree. I think this has got to be a team that is sticking in the play-in potential. If you're good on one side of the basketball and bad on one side of the basketball. It's hard to be an actual good team. It's crazy to see. The defense has lived up to the expectations. They were 26th last year,
right,
up to 14th now. Didn't think offense would be a problem at all for this Hawks team. They've had problems getting some shooting. Bogdanovic's health at the beginning of the season kind of put him behind the 8 ball with regards to the offense there. But, yeah, disappointing season, first half of the season for the Hawks. And it just feels like changes are afoot for Atlanta. They had a ton of change over the offseason as well. So a lot unsettled for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, they feel, I know we'll get to the Western Conference later in this podcast, but like there's some similarity to the Blazers type of season where they're actually not that bad defensively. That's all we really wanted from them, but they're not living up to their end of the bargain on the offensive side of the floor, even though they have, of course, Dame and, the Hawks have Trey. It's just strange.
It is strange. It's strange to see such a good offensive player, and I know I tried to make it a little rosier last year. They can't be worse offensively. So I meant that the second half of the season could only get better, right? They can't be worse. But I think I made this likeness on Thursday's show that you're seeing what Donovan Mitchell is doing in Cleveland after leaving a team that he was with for 5 years. This is Trey's 5th year, and maybe this team it's got to change somewhat. There's going to be some sort of...
They should trade John Collins and get back a piece or two to,
the gluey
invigorate
guys.
this squad a little bit. Yeah. And maybe it's a coaching change even again. I know they've done that before, but it worked the last time. Something does have to change because they're just stuck in this sort of rut here, and they're just mediocre. That's the thing. They're just very average, this team, and they shouldn't be after making all that big splashy deal in the offseason.
Well, yeah, and you don't trade away all of those picks for DeJounte Murray if you think the picks are going to be in the middle of the first round. Surely Atlanta's thinking these are going to be in the 20s up to 30. So, yeah. Let's move on, though, to the Boston Celtics. 30-12 right now, first in the Eastern Conference, first in the entire NBA, first in offense, 9th in defensive rating. Our preseason tiers podcast, we had them as an NBA Finals contender. I think they're going to stay there.
Yeah. This doesn't need to take all that long. We were right in the preseason. Why wouldn't we be? They had just gone to the finals, for crying out loud, the year before. Added some other pieces too. Most notably the Brogdon there coming off the bench, and they've been elite. 30 wins already. That's wild. Yeah, they're gonna. This will be a disappointing season if they're not in a conference finals. But I think you'd even argue it's get to the finals and win the whole thing. You don't do that, you come up short. That's bad for this team.
Yeah, we had some questions before the season started. The coaching change being the biggest one. Robert Williams to some degree.
Yep.
Would they be able to roll it over? They've been good for a long time. And I think that sort of led us to put them in that category undoubtedly as an NBA Finals contender. It does feel like, they just got there, this young team, but they've been to 4 conference finals in 6 seasons. And so they're obviously going to stay there. And I said about the Hawks, they can only get better. I think this team can only get better. I know it's weird to say that they got the first best offense in the entire NBA, but they were lacking in the defensive department for a while. Robert Williams still hasn't been a huge part of this team. They're going to get better on that side of the ball. They're not just the 9th best defense. And so, high 50 win team. Everybody thinks they will be the team to show up in the NBA Finals from the Eastern Conference. I shouldn't say everybody, but that's the majority opinion, and that's the right opinion. They've earned that.
Oh, Tatum and Jaylen Brown both leveled up too. They were already
absolutely
all NBA / All-Stars, and they've gone to another level, both of them, to go along with the rest of this team. So they're a final lock.
Yeah, some Beantown boys were hating on me in the stream team earlier because I said Jaylen Brown is the clear number 2 to Jason Tatum. I thought that was a reasonable statement considering Tatum is an MVP candidate. They're like, come on, us Celtics fans know he's 1A.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Jesus.
We gotta drive a wedge between these two. Split them up somehow.
This is like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan or something here. Who's the Elizabeth of the...
Celtics championship favorites right now for y'all?
Yes, I would say so.
I don't think I would bet on them. I believe in obviously the Bucks and then even a couple teams out west to win the whole thing. But they're on the short list, so. Yeah.
At worst, they're second for me.
Yeah, okay.
It's maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
that's fair.
I'm kind of thinking them over Milwaukee right now. I've been Bucks for life since they've had
They look
Giannis.
better than Milwaukee.
They look better than Milwaukee, and it is pretty amazing that the Celtics were so good on offense that even when they hit their down patch and were pretty cold from three, they're still good enough that they're still first in offense. Great stuff from them. This is going to be one of our biggest risers, I do believe. The Brooklyn Nets are our next candidate for the tier maker. 27-13, currently second in the Eastern Conference. They're fifth in offense, eighth in defense. Our preseason tier, we thought they had play-in potential. It was impossible to know what we were going to be getting from the Nets heading into this season. And basically what we've got from the Nets is an MVP-ish first half from Kevin Durant, a suspension from Kyrie Irving, and then all-NBA backcourt play from Kyrie Irving, and a surprisingly great defense.
Yeah. When I think of teams that are like a championship contender, there's a couple things I want them to like tick, and that is generally be good on both sides of the floor. So
Sure.
you should be top 10 really in both offensive rating and defensive rating. Okay, that's a check for the Nets there. You need to have a superstar in this league. I mean, you really need to have two, it feels like, but you got to have one guy that can like get you the bucket at the end. They have that, once Katie comes back, you got Kyrie there too. Some experience does help. It's very, very rare for a team to be like out of the playoffs and then suddenly in the finals. So, as the Nets, have they gone super far? No. They've come up short a couple times. A lot of that was injury reasons, but they have experience because they're star guys. So, I mean, they're just like check, 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 check here. So I think really we're going to get into debating whether they are a final contender, the top tier, or are they one below that.
Sounds like you want to put them in.
Well, I mean, I said it a week ago or so, and we were, I don't know how we suddenly were debating between the Phoenix Suns and the Brooklyn Nets who had a better chance to win the title, and you were trying to tell me it was the Suns, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Well, I think in the Eastern Conference, there's 1 and there's 1A. To me, I think you have to go through those two teams. Well, in the Western Conference, I think there's just a chance for anybody. You check out this the most recent NBA media survey. There's just far more teams that could make the finals in the West. So that's the biggest part of it.
Yes, but the Nets, I mean, they would hope because of standings that they only have to take out one of those elite teams in the Eastern Conference to get to the finals, right? Because, you just hope the Bucks and Celtics are meeting in a second-round series because of where they possibly land in the standings. So
you can throw them in.
I think they have to be considered. I want to consider them a final contender. To me, I don't see, like, the way they're playing defensively, the way they've played now under Jacques Vaughn, the pieces they have, Watanabe, obviously Royce O'Neal, Claxton's been amazing. Like, people have the guys around their superstars have started to figure out where they slot in. And, then there is Ben Simmons and all that. The only reason, and I said it on a podcast earlier, that I'm skeptical in a playoff series is I want to know if a coach is going to hack a Claxton or hack a Simmons. Those guys are garbage at the free throw line, and those two guys have to play to help their defense. So, all that though, I think I'm going final contender, top tier for me.
Top tier for Skeetsy.
Yeah, but you guys,
Yeah, I can't go top tier. I can't go there. I think there's too many questions. There's questions now. Kevin Durant's hurt. That's monstrous.
That's big. That's big.
And so he's got them in the second seed right now. I'd imagine the Bucks will finish higher than them, and then they've got to go through both those teams to get to the NBA Finals, most likely. So that's a huge hiccup. And just where this team goes over the next month to the trade deadline, which if they shake this thing up after it's worked so well, that's a huge question mark to me, what this team will be for the last 2 months of the season after this chemistry, which could go awry now before the trade deadline with Kevin Durant. So that's another big question to me. If we want to get into the playoffs, I think the first question is when they get punched in the mouth, like they got punched in the mouth by the Celtics last year, how do they respond? Mm-hmm. And when Nick Claxton doesn't have a good game, what the heck are they going to do? Because he's a year 4 guy. He's not gonna be amazing every game, I don't think. They're tiny after him, with Simmons as their backup center plus Kevin Durant. I think that's a big question. The free throw thing is a good question. So I think there's enough questions for me to throw them in the flirty flirts of the Final Four to me. What do you got, Trey?
I'm with you. I also think Final Four flirt, but if we had done this before Kevin Durant's injury, Finals contender seems about right to me. The other thing I would say that is a concern, the Nets are 9-10 against teams that are over 500. Yeah. Their record is a little bit inflated because they've beaten so many bad teams, but you got to beat all these bad teams because sometimes Kevin Durant gets injured, and you need to have those wins in your pocket. So there's 2 of us voting for a Final Four flirt, so sorry, Skeets.
No, you know what? I can live with that. And like you were saying, like Claxton, how great he's been, but like they are a little small. Like, what happens if they meet the Sixers?
Oh yeah,
in a series, which is very likely. Let's say in a second round series, like, oh god, I mean, not that anybody's really equipped to deal with Joel Embiid, but like they would be. That'd be a tough matchup, I think.
Yeah, but every other team at least has a Greg Monroe type on the bench waiting to bang a body.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
they could get that, or Cousins or something. Who knows?
Greg Monroe.
Sure, get the Moose.
I think that should be their number one priority. Everything is so good. The rumor that we talked about with John Collins going there, I think would mix it up a little too much. That should be their number one priority. Just get somebody large to me.
Okay, so we got them in tier 2 there, in flirting with the Final Four there.
All right, I'm realizing now that I did my alphabetical order incorrectly.
Oh, wow.
I had Chicago over Charlotte, but it turns out Charlotte is first alphabetically.
CHI.
Yeah, but see, on Basketball Reference, they call the Charlotte Hornets CHO.
Oh, I've always hated that.
Oh, there are like 3 that I would change for Basketball Reference. Brooklyn is BRK, I think.
Oh, wrong.
Is that right?
No, it's right, but it's wrong.
It's BRK on Basketball.
Yeah,
Reference.
I always try BKN first and then BRO. I don't know why I tried bro. That's a dumb one. Charlotte CHO is weird to me, and then the other one is Phoenix PHO. I would think it would be PHX.
Yeah.
Those are just my UX tips right there. Nonetheless, the Charlotte Hornets 11-31.
CLT would be fine too.
Yeah, it would, buddy.
That has it on their jersey.
Some of them.
You can't put CLT on a basketball stats website. Nobody would know what it is. Oh, it's my number one website. Charlotte Hornets, 11-31, 15th in the Eastern Conference, 30th in offense, 26th in defense.
Amazing.
Preseason, we had them in Area 51.
Damn right we did.
And they've earned it. They've earned it this year.
Yeah, look, when we get to some of these other teams that we're seeing in the preseason in the tiers, we were, dead wrong about. Pacers come to mind. I mean, even the Thunder, Jazz, of course. But, I remember specifically saying, the Hornets, they're going to be garbage. They probably should be garbage. Lean into the tank and help your odds of Wembanyama or a Scoot or something like that. They need all the talent they can get around. Of course, LaMelo, which he's been playing really well. Like when he's obviously returned from his injury that went on maybe a little longer than we thought at the start of the season. But we said this was going to be a bad team. And, I mean, every time I watch a Hornets game, it's like, oh, yep. They're not really that good. Like, they're almost dead last on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Like, they're that bad. So
I thought against the Raptors, they looked like they were better than 26th in offense. Or, sorry, 30th in offense and 26th in defense. The Raps made them look decent. With LaMelo Ball out there making things happen, it's kind of unbelievable that they're 30th on offense. I haven't checked since LaMelo has come back what their rating has been, but they look far better. It is strange, the lack of talent that they have when you consider LaMelo Ball, a former All-Star, has played nearly half the season to this point. And Gordon Hayward, a former All-Star, but a shell of himself. He had a shoe release, so he had to get back on the floor. Gordon Hayward has a shoe, baby. Gordon Hayward has a shoe.
With who? Li Ning?
It's not a shot.
It might be.
But I'm just curious.
I don't know if it's an Anta.
Anta. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, it's definitely not New Balance. He's not cool enough for New Balance. No way. Gordon Hayward, what is this shoe?
Are you sure?
It's an Anta, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. No, New Balance is cool now. DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had to get back on the floor because he was selling shoes.
He probably wears loafers. He's not in the lineup
half the time.
Yeah,
no. But I don't know, with all these talent, what I was talking about with the Raptors game this week, with all this talent, they can score. And they scored against the Raps. And so it's unbelievable that they're 30th. Offensively to me. So they'll get some teams in the second half, but they want to be bad.
There will be – lock them in for being one of the 3 worst teams, like with that 14% chance. I would bet the farm on it. Yeah, that's because they should.
Exactly. An easier Area 51 here because they are one of the worst teams in the league already.
Yeah.
And they might get worse. Like, this is a team that could very easily be a seller at the trade deadline. And
PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre Jr., I mean, obviously Plum Dog, not that, he's winning them a ton of games, but
he's a tall guy.
Put him on
He's
the
a tall guy.
Nets.
Exactly.
He's a tall guy.
Put him on the Nets. He's been there before. Former dunk contest participant. Perky Plumlee.
We learned his
Nets.
dad's name this
Perky.
week. Perky Plumlee.
Perky Plumlee.
Perky Plums.
Perky
That's
Plums.
true. We're not kidding about it.
That's an actual factual right there. Yeah, it's good that they'll be getting a top 5 pick because they need some top 5 talent to join LaMelo.
Yeah.
Here's a team who might not have a top 5 pick this year. The Chicago Bulls. Next up for the tier maker, 19-23. Currently 10th in the Eastern Conference after missing a chance to move up with the Hawks losing. But game winner from Kyle Kuzma last night kept the Bulls in number 10. They're 16th in offense. They are 18th in defense. On our preseason show, we said they had play-in potential. And that feels right.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we got to move this team all that much, Tass. I mean, we don't really think there's going to be a huge move made here at the deadline either. I mean, I guess it's possible that a DeRozan or a Vucevic or somebody big is moved, but let's say they have this squad, they're going to be battling. I mean, that's why a loss to the Wizards, in all honesty, is rough, like last night, because it could be tied with them or something like that in the standings or whatever. Like, that could bump them out of a home game in the play-in tournament or even making it completely. So, yeah, this is where I'm keeping the Bulls.
Yeah, and the rise of teams like the Knicks and the Pacers hurts the Bulls from getting up to the top 6 seeds, especially with the way the Cavs are playing, and Celtics, Nets, Bucks, Sixers being extremely solid. So they can't go anywhere but the same spot. It ain't up. It could be down with the way they finished against the Wizards. That was unfortunate. They obviously should have come out with that victory. So here they are.
How many wins is it going to take to be the 10th seed in the play-in in the East? What's it going to take by the end of the season? Are you going to even need to be above 500?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
So 40 wins maybe will get you in there?
Could be.
Yeah, 40-ish.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's they're sort of on pace there.
Well,
Close, at least.
It would be 38 right now.
Wow.
So
I feel like that'll go up a little bit. But
Yeah,
who
maybe.
knows?
We'll see.
What do you think, Bulls fan?
Play-in potential is good, though
Yeah.
I will say the Bulls are one of only 5 teams in the Eastern Conference
to beat
with
the
a
Celtics.
500 record against 500 teams.
Yeah.
Their schedule gets easier in the second half of the season, unfortunately.
Isn't this hold on? Isn't this the opposite of what the Bulls were like? Was it even last season
Yes,
where they
yes, indeed.
they beat all the crappy teams and could never hang with the better teams in their conference, and now it's flipped here. What gives?
That's inconsistency
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
But yeah, I think they were 1-14 against the top 4 seeds
Yeah.
last year, and now they only beat the top 4 seeds. So it's weird. But we're gonna be talking about the Bulls a lot in the next 4 weeks, I think, because every other team is monitoring their situation.
yeah,
Lots of monitoring going on. Here's a fun team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, 26-16. They are 5th in the Eastern Conference. They are 11th in offense. They're 2nd in defense.
Sure.
In our preseason podcast, we had them as playoff locks. I think they're certainly a playoff lock still.
Yeah.
But I would be willing to hear a case for a Final Four flirtation.
Can you make it?
I think so.
Obviously, you love the Cavs. They have an identity with that defense. You've got a superstar in Mitchell to win you close games down the stretch. So that to you is enough.
They've
to,
got
be
the
a
ingredients.
conference finals.
Mitchell can pull a team out of a playoff series where they're in a hole. So can an incredible defense, and they're deep enough. They're going to win the ugly games. They can win the ugly games in postseason basketball where their guys you're not hitting shots just because they're so good defensively, and they have so many weapons offensively. So you mentioned that they're sort of just out of the top 10 offensively. That's going to get better. I think that Donovan Mitchell has been covering up a little bit of the problems that they have in fourth quarters. They don't have all the chemistry in the world. Garland did miss a stretch. I think they can get better offensively. I think they can all touch it a little bit more. I think the ball can be shared a little bit more amongst their really, 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 really talented top 5. So nowhere to go but up, in my opinion. So yeah, I think they have the potential to get up to the 2 seed. Yeah, I think they could be in the same category as the Nets. I think that's fair. I think you got Celtics, Bucks in the East. those are the heavyweights. They've shown they're the heavyweights. But to me, this team emulates the Bucks to some degree. Superstar, incredible defense with incredible height back there, plus, just a scrappy bunch. So I'm buying it.
They have the third best net rating in the league at plus 4.9. They blow out a lot of teams, like when they get on their runs there in games and can put teams away. I am a little concerned when I went through that checklist before. This is a case of a team that, like, they haven't done it really together in playoff series and advanced through rounds and stuff like that. So, like, are we getting ahead of ourselves by trying to, like, slot them all the way into a conference finals? Though that happens with teams. Obviously, Lucas Mavs, the Hawks with Trae Young, like, it can happen. But I think you said it. You slipped it in there, Tess. I think they actually have to have a very, very good regular season record where they are in the standings for me to put them into a Final Four contender, because the Sixers, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Nets. I mean, I can't see that, like, they would have to win on the road, potential Game 7s on the road or whatever. Multiple times.
That'd be tough.
I think that's far less likely that they would go that far. So, but then again, if they were like a second seed, they'd have some home court advantage there, where they're really, really good. I would like to stick with a playoff lock, though.
You're sticking with playoff lock?
Yep.
You don't want to bump them up to Final Four flirts?
No, because I think there's 4 better teams in the Eastern Conference.
Sixers. You're putting ahead of the Cavs, basically.
Okay.
I think that, and I even think, like, a team, like, I still have a little bit of hope in the Miami Heat, and I think that'd be an interesting series between the Heat and the Cavs. So I'm going playoff lock, but are you going with Tassie?
You actually convinced me. I think playoff lock is probably the move here, though I could see it making much like a Hawks or a Mavs run. If the matchups work out perfectly for them, I think that they could definitely make a run to the Final Four. But I think playoff lock is right. This is just a really good team. Mitchell's missed time. Garland's missed time.
Yeah.
Jared Allen has missed time. They're going to upgrade somehow at the trade deadline, it certainly feels like. But who knows what happens when they actually get to the playoffs. So, I think playoff lock is fine, but their goal should absolutely be to host a first-round playoff series. They need home court advantage, especially over the Sixers, who is the team that they're kind of chasing them right now, that they're in the mix for. So I think you definitely want to host a 4-5 series against Philadelphia, if possible.
I also love that we now have at least one team in every tier.
That does look good.
God, that looks good.
That does look really nice.
All right.
Whoa, where are we going to be doubling up? I think we know where we're doubling up on this one. It's the Detroit Pistons, 12-33. They are 14th in the Eastern Conference. 24th in offense, 29th in defense. Preseason, we had them in Area 51. A team to get excited about.
Yep.
With all their young guys, the addition of Bojan Bogdanovic. Cade Cunningham, obviously, is hurt right now for the rest of the season. Didn't light the league on fire when he was back, but Bojan has been good. Keeping him in the Area 51?
Yes, we are.
yeah.
Yes, we are. I do remember in that preseason show, there was some debate because we were, like, getting a little excited about, like, could they be knocking on the door of a play-in game? And is it the Magic or is it the Pistons that are going to be in that tier above Area 51? But in the end, we rightfully, of course, kept them in that bottom tier. And, the Cade injury was obviously very deflating. But this is the right spot. Killian Hayes is playing better. Maybe you might counter with, like, who cares? These are a bunch of, like, doesn't matter games for them. But look, he's still super young, and he had a nice, like, last quarter of this season. Started slow, but over this last 20 games, he looks really solid for them. So Area 51 though.
No doubt. I'm surprised that they are second worst in the league defensively. Just sort of anecdotally watching this team, they feel like they play hard and they get after it. Obviously, it stinks. They don't have their best players. So, how can we move them? We can't. And it also stinks that Cade Cunningham can't play with Jaden Ivey just for chemistry, camaraderie sake. It would be nice for those two to get it moving together. It feels like this is a tough team to beat, and they bring it every night, but they don't have their best ball handler. So
some teams got to be the worst teams, unfortunately. One of them is the Detroit Pistons, and one of them we thought would be the Indiana Pacers.
Cool.
This is one of our biggest whiffs from the preseason.
I took a huge L on the Pacers.
Had them in Area 51. They are currently 23-19, 7th in the Eastern Conference. On offense, they're down to 13th after a really hot start to the year. Their defense is 19th. Tass's hair is looking incredible right now.
It's windy.
I thought you just woke up like that, man. Didn't have to do anything to it. But styling on them. Where are we going to put the Indiana Pacers here?
Oh, man.
They're 7th now, so if they're at the absolute top of the play-in, I think they could at least hang in the play-in. It'll depend on what they decide to do at the trade deadline. But if Buddy Hield gets moved, Miles Turner actually getting moved would tank their defense because he's basically the entirety of their defense. But it feels like they'll at least be able to score for the rest of the season with Halliburton running the show, with Mathurin being able to score sometimes efficiently, at least productively. They should be a decent offensive team, but if Miles Turner's gone, they will be stinks on defense.
Yeah, where do you want to slot this team?
Oh, play in for sure.
Play in, okay. Yeah, I think that's right. You're not going playoff lock by any means.
No,
because we don't even know what this team's going to look like.
We don't know what it's going to look like, and that was a predominant factor in our preseason rankings.
Yeah, right.
Just thinking, okay, their talent is solid at a couple positions. We didn't know Ben Mathurin would be this good, but we knew that Miles Turner would be solid, Tyrese Halliburton would be solid, and we thought, well, Tyrese Halliburton's going to be by himself pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mathurin has obviously come along, and just one of the best watches in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Offensively, how they share it. It ain't quite 2014 Spurs, but sometimes it is. It's awesome to watch. So who knows what happens with Tyrese Halliburton's injury as well. Mm-hmm. That's a big factor.
That's a big factor.
He is the glue on this team. So it's a TBD, but like Trey said, they should still be good offensively. Defensively is a question because this Miles Turner scenario is a little wild. Mere months ago, we talked about this guy basically auditioning to himself or to other teams on a podcast, on the Woj podcast, saying, if I was the Lakers, I'd be looking at this guy, two thumbs pointing at myself. But now he's talking extension with this team. So it's up for debate, but there's some solid teams in the East. There's the haves and the have-nots are starting to separate themselves, and we've talked about 5 teams. But once we get to the Sixers, we'll have 5 teams that are flirts. And that makes it tough to be a playoff lock for teams like the Pacers.
I wouldn't be mad seeing Tyrese Halliburton in a play-in game, like a win and you're in type thing. I mean, a guy's clutch, and he's not afraid of the moment. So, that's where I'm slotting him, though, as Tass, as you put it. So we get some separation between the really good teams and then sort of the average teams and teams holding on. But, I thought they were going to be the worst team in the league. I remember saying that. So I was dead wrong on that. Hell of a job from Rick Carlisle. And, Mathurin was amazing right out of the gate. Halliburton's playing at an all-star level. Turner and Hield, despite being in trade rumors, ball out for the most part when they're out there. They got a bunch of Canadians. What was I doing? Thinking, why was I betting against the Canadians and Nemhard and Duarte? And stupid of me. But, what a season for them. I mean, they could lose every game from here on out, and it's still a pretty damn good season.
Super exciting. Yeah. Great start. We're only halfway through the Eastern Conference so far. So
we got to talk more.
Yeah, this one's actually, I feel like, going to be one of the lengthier ones.
Oh,
this is a confusing team, I do think. The Miami Heat, 22-20, 8th in the Eastern Conference, an abysmal 25th on the offensive end of the court. But, of course, they're 5th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as Final Four flirts. And if I'm remembering right, it was a little bit of a bone throw because they were a shot away from making the NBA Finals last season. Doesn't feel like the Heat to me need the perfect matchups. They're going to be an impossible out in the playoffs, but the idea of them scoring enough points in 2 straight series to making it to the conference finals is a bit far-fetched to me. I think they're more of just a playoff lock team.
So going down a notch.
Well, I think you definitely have to knock them down 1 notch.
Because
I don't know if they're a lock.
Of their offense.
I don't even know if they're a lock. How does our tier system work? Do we need to have 6 teams? Do we have to have 6 teams in the playoff lock or above category?
Right.
Or are we gonna have more than 6 playoff locks? Because if the Heat if the Heat make it, then the Knicks aren't making it. I guess that's that's the only other team that is
they would need to jump the Pacers in 7th right now and the Knicks in 6th.
Yeah.
So all right. I just want.
Do you
this
think the
tier
Miami
maker
Heat
to be...
are a better team than the New York Knicks?
No.
When it's all said and done in a playoff series.
Well, in a playoff series, they got to get there. listen, the Knicks have way more offensive weapons right now.
That is weird to say, but it is true.
It is weird to say. And they have an identity. Now, yeah, do the Heat have the best player amongst those two teams? Absolutely, for sure.
Yes. As great as Brunson's been. That's the thing with the Heat. Like, you look at all their stats, you look at their shitty offense, you look where they are, how they've disappointed. I'd like to see Bam now, putting it together. He was like non-existent for the first month of the season. Lowry's had a brutal year. Yeah. They might trade him if you believe the trade rumors out there. He's going to be on the Dallas Mavericks maybe. Who's coming back? A Dorian Finney-Smith? A Bullock? I don't know. A Tim Hardaway Jr.? But then you watch Heat games, and you get into crunch time, and you see Jimmy Butler take over a game for 3 minutes, and you're like, oh, yeah. He's done this before on playoff teams, including this Miami Heat team. It's like, God, that guy, if the game is tight enough, he can win you games and potentially, I guess, series. And that's where I'm always caught in between. Like, this team sort of sucks. And then I watch them, and I'm like, why? Why do they suck? Because Bam's awesome, Jimmy's awesome. I mean, I'm obviously a Lowry fan, despite how bad he's been, but Hero can change games. They're well coached. They've made far runs. So I am all over the map on this team. I mean, I literally am. From where we had them in the preseason, like seeing how they could make a conference finals run, to now, Jesus, can they even make the play-in? Can they hold on?
Yeah, it's a tough call. 15-13 with Jimmy Butler on the floor. I would have guessed actually a better record when he's playing. It feels like, I don't know, we probably get really excited about every time he drags them to a win and just chalk it up as a surprising loss every time they lose.
Yeah, I think so.
The Heat are going to be a better plailff team than regular season team. That's a team that would guarantee win a play-in game if they get put into it, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm willing to put them in the playoff lock because I think if they get the 7th seed, they will win. And then they'll make the real playoffs.
Oh, okay.
It's a side door. It's a side door into the playoffs.
I'm fine with the side door. You're going through the garage.
That's exactly it.
That door's always open. Nobody walks that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Ooh.
Yeah, if we're talking
it's reputation, man. You can't.
It is.
Nobody wants to pick against the Heat.
It is.
They always overperform. They haven't overperformed yet, but the season is young. How about the Milwaukee Bucks? 27-14, third in the Eastern Conference. 23rd only in offense, third, of course, in defense. We had them as an NBA Finals contender in our preseason tiers. Big concern with the Bucks is they look pretty bad offensively in the half court. Giannis has taken it upon himself to be their lead guy with Chris Middleton missing a huge chunk of time.
Yep.
And he's struggling a little bit. I mean, Giannis is still putting up MVP numbers, but not the best numbers of his career. His effective field goal percentage is way, way low. And the more he has to do, which adds up over the course of a season. So, like I said, I still think the Bucks are a finals contender. I had him as my championship pick earlier, but I would put him behind the Celtics right now.
I don't like this Chris Middleton having only played 7 games at this point, and not there right now. I think I just read before we went live that he's going to go play for the Wisconsin Herd. Going a little G League, get those reps in maybe,
he's
and then
down there.
Should be back soon in theory, but like, he is important, man. That guy's, you can lock him in for 20 points every game. He can go off for those 40-point games. He can operate, obviously, at the three-point line and then to the free throw line. Puts a little pressure. I mean, just it takes pressure off Giannis to do everything. I said it, and in watching them last night against the Hawks even, they are very Mavericks-like, this team right now. He is the Luka, and you just pray all those shots are falling from your three-point shooters. That's what the look's going to be with the way teams load up on those superstars in Luka and Giannis, and it's like, when they're falling, they look invincible, and then they dry up. It's like, what's the second plan here? So, a better defense, though, obviously, than Dallas that I believe in with Brook and Giannis there as your big guys. And I still have them as a final contender. I mean, I'm not moving them, despite them not playing great right now and the Middleton injury.
Yeah. Giannis wants other guys to step up. There's no doubt. And it should be Chris Middleton, and it should be soon. He is playing, quote, significant 5-on-5. Like, not just light 5-on-5 down there with the Herd, with the G League team. So he should be back. And I think if you're, looking at it positively, you look back at what happened with Brook Lopez last year. He almost missed 70 games to start the season. Came back and helped his team in the playoffs. So maybe they know what they're doing with injuries. But it's really on Chris. I do like Joe Ingles and the way he's looked, but he's not getting to the rim. That's not his. You can't rely on him a lot. And so Chris Middleton is, Very, very, very important on this team. And I guess the other worry is just, along with Chris Middleton, you throw Brooke in there, you throw Drew in there. Like, will they all be able to hold up through the postseason? They're a little older.
Right.
They're on the other
now,
size of 30. To me, it feels like we're getting the young Boston Celtics up against the oldie Milwaukee Bucks at some point. And that's a storyline for sure.
I think this is a team that will make a move here before the deadline too. Not a huge move. Obviously, you're not moving one of those big pieces, the Bucks here, but they need, in my opinion, some athleticism, some youthfulness, maybe even in the wing position. And they have Beauchamp, and he looks fine at times. I think they ask him to do a little too much, especially with Middleton being out. But I think they might tinker around the edges because they're a smart front office, and you got Giannis. You all got a chance to win the chip. I mean, that's where you're at with this team. So I think they'll do something. I don't know what, but I think they will.
Yep, I'm with you. They're still a championship contender, and they can still be better, and they'll probably do something to upgrade a little bit. New York Knicks, 23-19, 6th in the Eastern Conference, currently 8th on the offensive side of the ball, 10th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as a play-in potential team. This one's a little dicey here. Are the Knicks going to hold on to a top 6 seed for the rest of the season? I know Tass, the biggest Quentin Grimes fan I know, is saying yes.
You betcha. I think if we can throw the Heat in the playoff lock category, I think the Knicks got to be there because it took them a while to understand who they are. And so that was dicey to start the season. And the fact that they found that here in the second half of the first half, the last quarter here, that bodes well for the second half. Jalen Brunson is an all-star level player, whether or not he makes it or not. He's made Julius Randle better because he takes so much pressure off him. They found a guy in Grimes. They found a bench now. Mitch Robinson somehow stays healthy. Maybe the Heat's high ceiling is a little bit higher than the Knicks, but this team's solid. You can harken back to the old Tibbs days. Just a solid lunchbox type team, and why can't they be a 500 team? I don't see them falling off. I don't see the Tibbs teams that have bought in don't fall off in the same season anyway. So I think they'll be there.
Yep, I have them as a playoff lock too. I believe enough that they're in there. I mean, they're right there like a team with Miami Heat, like you said, and their butler is Brunson. They need Mitchell Robinson to always play. I always say this, so I'm always holding my breath when he gets injured next. But they're top 10 on both sides of the floor, offensive and defensive rating. That's huge. And you've got all-star-like guys. Yeah, this is a playoff team. This team is better than your Hawks, your Raptors, your Bulls, your Wizards, probably your Pacers. Like, they're a tiny step above those teams to me. So, playoff lock.
Yep, lock them in. It's also cool that Tommy Tibbs is playing everybody that everybody wanted him to play. Like, Quickly plays a ton. Grimes plays a ton. They're playing the young guys. Toppin is, I guess, back from injury now, right? He came back. Yep. So that's good. Good stuff.
And they're 13-6 in their last 23 games. Like, that was a bad start.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second.
Hold on, that was bad math.
What happened to the other 4 games?
Yeah, that was bad. 13-6 in their last 19 games.
Football.
Sorry about that. I was doing it on the fly, but they started 10-13, and 10-6 since. They've gotten a lot better. They know what's up.
Surprisingly hot team.
13-6. Sorry, numbers. Go ahead.
13 plus 6 equals 9. Here's our 9th team to talk about, ish. The Orlando Magic. They're 13th in the Eastern Conference, 16-26.
Oh,
they've been racking up wins lately, 26th in offense, 25th in defense. We had them in the Area 51 tier before the season. They've gotten hot recently. Yeah. This might be the team that plays spoiler down the stretch.
Ooh, I like that.
There's always one team that, it's usually the Sacramento Kings when playoff seeds have been determined and they just start winning games because they're maybe overlooked. Perhaps that's Orlando. They've had a cool season. I think.
I think they're a team that a lot of people like to watch with Franz and Paolo and Wendell Carter Jr. Bol, and he goes back, and Jonathan Isaac if he ever plays again. Like, Fultz is a nice story. No one talks about him because he plays in Orlando and they don't win a ton of games, but he's having a decent year here.
Has
they're good.
Paolo been named?
Yeah, that's
oh,
Paolo in
sorry.
there. I mean,
He
he's
is
rookie.
cool.
He won Rookie of the Year after literally 8 games, after Mathurin started to cool down. And then it was
pretty
over.
much.
It was a wrap.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I like that they'll probably play spoiler, but I don't think they're going to get into a play-in game. Though they're not that far behind, I guess. I don't think they'll win at that.
They're not far behind
No,
right
they're probably
now.
a handful, of games. But keep them in the. Hey, look, if they have a chance at the number 1 pick, they're going to win it because that's all the Orlando Magic do as a franchise. Like they could have like the 10th best odds, and they'll probably win this thing. How many times they've won it with the Shaq and Dwight and Paolo, obviously, and who else am I forgetting? They win it one more.
Shaq, Dwight, Chris Webber. They won back-to-back years, right? Shaq and Chris Webber, but they traded it. I actually hope that the Orlando Magic get the number 2 pick. I've been saying for a while they need a point guard. Scoot Henderson alongside Franz and Paolo. Woo! Spicy.
You think they have the guts? You think they have the guts to pick Scoot at 1? Or maybe they would
Wow! No way! Wow! Hadn't thought about that.
Or they could trade.
Trade down?
Trade down 1 and get Scoot. Scoot is impressing out there.
Trading down. That's exactly what they did with Chris Webber, right? They're like, we already got a big guy. Let's trade down and get Penny Hardaway.
Mm-hmm.
Do it again.
Went to a finals.
Yep. All right, so we're keeping them though in the area 51.
Yeah,
A good story if they do fight for a play-in. Only 3 games back of the Bulls right now. It would be.
Oh yeah, final week or 2 of the season, you got to string together 3 wins to maybe be a 10 seed or something like that for sure.
They've got so many of the internet's favorite players. They're stacking them up here left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wendell Carter Jr. I know he's not.
I love him.
He's just so solid.
Yep.
And they just got him back. So.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll upset some teams.
3 teams remain in the Eastern Conference. The next one for the tier maker, the Philadelphia 76ers, 25-15, 4th currently in the Eastern Conference. They're 9th in offense. They're 4th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as a championship contender.
Good.
Yes. And I think they should stay there. Even though it was a slow start to the year for Philadelphia, we found out Embiid had plantar fasciitis over the summer. He got hurt eventually. James Harden got hurt eventually. Tyrese Maxey got hurt eventually. Top 10 on both sides of the ball. And they've been really good, basically, since Embiid came back from his injury. So I think they stay in the top tier.
4th best team in the league when it comes to net rating. Right below the Cavs. They ain't going anywhere. I'm glad we had them in that top tier. I think they're the most overlooked team, actually, in the league right now.
You're right.
I feel like we never talk about them. They've recently been taking care of business, just hammering teams, like bad teams, but like killing them. They're good. And Harden and Embiid, man, that's a hell of a 1-2 for teams to try and figure out their pick and roll action there. And that's awesome with the top 5 defense. So, yeah, they're not moving. They're still one of the better teams in the league.
And they look like they'd be better in the playoffs. Just the way that they're set up. I know you probably wouldn't think about that.
Got some
as a
playoff
James
demons,
Harden
both
team.
those guys. So
Yes. But
Yes.
they can slow it down like they like to, but they can speed it up, and so they can play multiple ways. They have handled these injuries you mentioned so well, so it'd be impossible to drop them from that category. They are just a ridiculously solid team, and you wouldn't say that about a Harden team, but he does deserve some all-star buzz. He's played well.
And a part of the slow start, too, was all those guys they made the moves for in the offseason, they were struggling. And I'm talking about Melton and, Tucker there. And, they weren't playing well. And I think that was having an effect on their win-loss record. So now everyone, again, they've slotted in. Nobody's talking about them. They're humming along here. And they're gonna be a hell of a matchup for whoever they got to play in a playoff series or 2. But look, we're gonna have a couple of teams in the Eastern Conference that are gonna be very disappointed at the end of the year when they don't make a conference finals, and you're like,
Definitely.
oh, what happened? We lost in the second round again. Oh shit. Well, we gotta pivot here. But
They gotta move up the standings as well. I think they'd have to hold on to home court if they have any hope of making the finals. And that they're on the fence right now. They're teetering. They're tied for 4th right now. So they handle the injuries so well that it bodes well for the second half, that they should move up. And they've just been biding their time until the playoffs. And we got to remember, Joel Embiid is going to have to win a couple series, more than he has he's never made a conference finals. So it's like the Cavs, this is a lot to overcome for them too. So to win 3 series when they've only won 1.
But what's different from the Cavs is they have expectations. The Sixers do. Where the Cavs, if they lose it'd be a bad ending to a year, but like people aren't trying to say like, oh, title or bust with the Cavs. They're so young. Look at this nucleus. This is like, come on, put up or shut up.
Right.
Get to a conference finals at the very least, and maybe even a chance at the finals.
Up next, the Toronto Raptors, 18-23. They're 11th in the Eastern Conference, 14th in offense, 15th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as a playoff lock.
Oh, somebody told me to hit the over.
Yeah.
Man. I didn't, don't worry. But I remember we talked about that over-under stat when it came to the Raps. It was always like, always hit the over. They always win 48-plus games, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, if you had listened to me the last 11 years when I said it, you've got it right.
Yeah. You're right.
10 of 12.
One loss, that's fine.
Yeah, they're not a playoff lock by any means. Oh, man. I don't think we're dipping them all the way down to an Area 51. Though if Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster were to blow up this team in the next couple weeks, moving off of Van Vliet, moving off of Gary, moving off an OG, suddenly Siakam's got plantar fasciitis, sit him down. Like, I guess then in theory they could get down there. They're not that far removed from those very bad teams, I guess, they're record-wise. But I think play-in potential is where I'm putting them. And not feeling great about it, obviously. It sucks.
Yeah, they're a mid-team, middle of the pack, offensively, defensively, which is a little surprising. And the most unfortunate part when watching them, that their defense is bad, that they aren't driving, that sometimes after makes, multiple times after makes, they get all scrambled and don't know who to cover. And this team, that's the surprising part. That they're middle of the pack offensively while trying to push Scotty Barnes into a bigger role. I guess it's not that surprising.
No, because they don't have many shooters, especially if Van Vliet, one of your better shooters, has struggled all year.
Yeah.
No,
so
you're right. It's the defense. They have no identity, which is surprising because the Raptors' identity was always nobody wants to play us because we're switchy. We're a nightmare defensively. We're everywhere, and we'll stay in a lot of games because of that. And that's not been the case this year.
No.
So,
we're using this program called Tier Maker to use our tiers and throw them in the right categories. This team has been making me make tiers plenty this season. Scotty especially, and Freddie, they're not smiling. They're making themselves cry, I think.
Right.
There's not a lot of joy on that team. Not like last year. So many smiles last year.
Very much smilier last year.
Yeah.
I would have to agree, unfortunately. Play-in potential seems like the right place for the Raptors. And I'm guessing our last team as well. The Washington Wizards, currently 18-24. They're 12th in the Eastern Conference, 22nd in offense, 13th in defense. We had them as a play-in potential team before the season. Don't think much has changed. Seems like another classic Wizards season right here.
oh my God, is it ever? Hey, look, the question is DeLon Wright playing? If he's playing, they're a championship contender. Their record's 9-4. I said on this morning's podcast when he plays. But yeah, I mean, I think every time I watch the Wizards now, I'm like, they just need to trade Bradley Beal because they're not any better when Bradley Beal plays. In fact, it feels like the opposite half the time. So, in an off season or whatever, and a team is ready to make a big splashy move and get an all-NBA all-star like guy in Beal that can still fill it up. It's still a great player, don't get me wrong, but like, just go get some young picks and draft picks for Beal. But yeah, they're a play-in. I mean, they'll be there, but it's like the worst spot for this team because they're there all the time. I feel like they've played in every play-in tournament we've ever had.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do at the deadline, because it would be a very wizardry thing to think, we got Kuz playing well, let's just keep him.
Extend him.
Let's roll, baby, into a team that could literally be a lottery team.
Yeah, their whole thing is always like, Beal, Porzingis, and Kuzma, they've barely played together. Wait till we see it happen. But it never happens.
It never happens
for like a game or two and someone's always hurt. But yeah, they should trade Kuzma. They should potentially trade Will Barton, who's an expiring deal. They should do something here for like even the immediate future, like the next year or two. Because there's some talent on the team. I mean, they whiffed on their draft pick by all accounts. Like
Johnny.
Have you even heard Johnny Davis's name been said in this year? Is he even injured? I don't even know he plays.
No, he has oldies play over him plenty of times.
Yeah.
He's deep in the queue, unfortunately for the Wizards. Yeah, and as much as I'm a Rui fan and a Denny fan, they have not taken this team to the next level. And Yeah, they literally have a question mark at every position. Bradley Beal went on Gilbert Arenas and Josiah Johnson's show and said, I signed here, but there weren't really any other options.
Yeah.
So it's like Porzingis is injured.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma may not be there. You go up and down the roster. Monte Morris has been solid, but yeah, do you blow it up?
Beal has a no trade clause too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
That's an interesting look there.
Yeah.
He'll say.
Wizards.
Yeah, but he just wants to dictate what team he goes to.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I can't believe they gave that to him.
But we love the pink unis.
I love the blossoms.
Wear 'em
We
every
love
game.
the blossoms. Bradley Blossoms. All right, so here's our tiers in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Our finals championship contenders. We've got the Celtics, we got the Bucks, we got the Sixers. The Nets, kind of in a holding pattern. This is like the upgraded version of putting them in play-in potential because we're like, who knows? Who knows with the Nets? Our playoff locks, additional playoff locks, are the Cavs, the Heat, and the Knicks. Our play-in potential teams, the Hawks, Bulls, Pacers, Raptors, and Wizards. And our lowest tier, the Area 51 teams, the Hornets, the Pistons, and the Magic. Tass, you were talking, do we have to have the perfect number of teams?
Nah.
And honestly, I think we nailed it here because we've got 4 teams up top in the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Sixers and Nets. Seem like playoff teams. They will be actual playoff locks. One of the Cavs, Heat, and Knicks is going to fall into the play-in tournament, but one of them will make it to the playoffs, ergo they're a lock. And then one of these teams in the play-in potential between the Hawks, Bulls, Pacers, Raptors, and Wizards will be our final playoff.
Oh, I can't
They
wait.
will be the 8th seed. And the Boston Celtics better not hope it's the Chicago
Oh,
Bulls. That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
8-1. It's been done before. To the Bulls. But stick around. We're going to take a quick break here. Sorry, Skeets. I'm stealing the toss to the ad
do
break
it,
here,
man.
man. I'm feeling good. Feeling good right now. I'm feeling top tier myself. Just like our advertisers. Top tier advertisers. Stick around. You can do the next one.
I personally could get used to not walking into a clothing store ever again. I think the last few years has changed me, and maybe it's for the better. Because I took Stitch Fix's quiz where they determine your style, and honestly, it was pretty fun. They just show you pictures. I like that. You just select. Like that, don't like that. Like that, don't like that. Like that, and it gets from more general to more specific to your style, and it's easy. Just answer a few questions about what you like to wear, what you don't. No top hat, please. Stitch Fix, no thank you. Easy. And how open you are to trying new styles. Then, Stitch Fix's experts, they go to work.
Yeah.
They find items exclusively for you. Every piece is handpicked for you and is unique to your size, style, and in your budget, making it the best way to discover clothes that make you look and feel your best. They send you 5 pieces you try on at home. You do a little fashion show for your loved ones, keep what you love, and send back what you don't. It was easy. Return package was so easy. Big bag, I threw it in there, shoved with a thing I didn't like in there, done. Actually, I did mess up. I forgot to shove one more thing in there. I didn't do a great tape job, so it was easy to get a second thing in there. All good. Send it back. Plus, there's no subscription required. Try once or set up automatic deliveries. There are no hidden fees, ever. Sign up today at stitchfix.com/nodunks to get $20 off your first purchase. That's stitchfix.com/nodunks to get $20 off your first purchase. Limited time offer. Purchase within 2 days of sign up.
If you own crypto and leave it on the exchange where you bought it, sorry, that's a crypt no. We've heard the news lately. Exchanges closed, accounts frozen, SBF, FTX, OMG. We're learning the hard way. Crypto on an exchange is not really in your control. So get yourself a secure crypto wallet and control your crypto yourself. Like, I don't know, how about ZenGo? The simple and secure crypto wallet with everything you need. Some factoids for your consideration. 1, the ZenGo wallet is fully recoverable, so say goodbye to lost coins. 2, the ZenGo wallet is a hacker's nightmare. ZenGo uses 3-factor authentication, including 3D biometrics, so no one can access your wallet but you. Got these hackers shaking in their digital boots. Suckers. And 3, ZenGo recognizes we're all at different levels of our crypto journey, so they built live support 24/7 with real people directly into the app. Keep your crypto and NFTs safe with next-gen tech the big guys have been using for years, thanks to ZenGo. Download the ZenGo app from the App Store or Google Play. That's ZNGO and use code NODUNKS to get 0% fees on your first purchase of up to $1,000 when you select Banksa as your purchasing option. That's code NODUNKS for 0% fees on your first purchase via Banksa. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
All right, back in the Classic Factory, the podcast for the true sickos. This is a long one. Oh, baby, we got a whole conference still to do. Ranking all of the teams at the NBA's halfway point into 5 tiers: championship contenders, Final Four flirts, playoff locks, play-in potential, and Area 51, which is the tanking for the alien Victor Wembanyama Tankers. So, there's the Eastern Conference. Let's do the West.
We're going to fly through these ones.
Sure,
fly through these ones. Take just as long as the first block. Anyways, the Dallas Mavericks first on our list, 23-19, fifth in the Western Conference. They are 7th in offense. They are 23rd in defense. In the preseason, we said they are a playoff lock. I remember this being a hotly debated one because the Mavericks went to the Final Four last year. Nobody calls it that for the NBA, but they did go to the Western Conference Finals. The pitches, the same exact thing could happen, pretty much, is what you would have to be thinking if you're Dallas. I'm kind of happy keeping them where they're at in the playoff lock category.
Luka's good enough to get him in a playoff lock category. I think they are seeing what the allowing of Jalen Brunson to go to the Knicks is how it hurts them.
Yeah.
But in that scenario where they get to the conference finals again, Luka's going to have to beat Jalen Brunson in the first round because Jalen Brunson got them basically to the second round. With the help of Luka after coming back from injury. Jalen Brunson was that guy putting the team on his shoulders. So Luka's just got to do it again. That's the unfortunate part about these Mavs. He can't take much time off. When he has to sit in a playoff game, that might hurt. So keep him healthy. That's the only question mark. But playoff lock, he's too damn good to take him out of that spot.
Yeah, we were debating it for sure. I remember I was down more on the Mavs than you guys in the preseason. And I think that's where we maybe ultimately decided, were they a Final Four contender or flirt, or were they more of a play-in team? Because there's so many good teams in the Western Conference, and we settled in the middle on playoff lock because I thought they were going to miss Jalen Brunson. I am not a Christian Wood fan, though he has played way better than I thought he would, at least offensively for them. And I just was concerned about, of course, the offense is Luka, and you need these guys, Tim Hardaway Jr., you need Bullock, you need Dorian Finney-Smith to knock down open shots, and they can do it for times, and then they go ice cold at times, and that can lose you some games. So I'm fine with playoff lock. I mean, you have Luka, he's somehow gone to another level, despite still having a very short career. Oh, he's going to be a 4-time All-NBA player already or something like that? It's insane.
He's awesome.
How many of these is this guy going to rack up? But, it's like Spencer Dinwiddie. Has he had a good season to you?
Well,
pretty quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Right.
But I don't think Luka's going to fade. I think he did come into this season the healthiest he's ever come, into the best shape.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that 7th best offense falling off. Where I do see them potentially improving is that 23rd best defense. And that has not been good, obviously. They are missing Kleba and Dorian Finney-Smith, but last year they were a far better defensive team. They scrapped harder. Christian Wood being in the lineup, I think, is a part of that. The JaVale McGee signing has not worked out, but I think they are getting to know what they are a little bit better, or a little bit more. JaVale, sorry, it's not going to work out. Dwight's going to be in there. So I think they can only go up. So I think the lock spot is the right spot.
Okay, I'm fine with playoff lock.
And they can upset teams, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Postseason.
That's the thing. There's maybe 3 teams in the Western Conference where they won't have the best player on the floor. And even then, it's going to be debatable. I mean, I thought they were going to have the best player on the floor against the Warriors last season. That was not the case.
Right.
But, I mean, Warriors, Nuggets, and Lakers, that's maybe the only players you'll think that is ahead of Luka when it's a playoff series. But we're talking about the rest of the season. They did get hot last year defensively in the second half of the season. It was very Celtics-like the way they turned it on in the second half. They just kind of got overshadowed a little bit by Boston, I thought. But I think Dallas, slight downgrade. I think we had him as playoff lock in the preseason.
Yep.
So you're sticking there.
Same spot.
Yep.
That's right. I mean, look, depends on who they play, but I don't love their chances to win a first-round series. Because I think they're going to slip a little bit more than you guys do. I guess Luka could continue to do this for another 40 games, but you can't. We're almost at the point where he can't do much more, right? He has to maintain this unbelievable level. The guy is scoring 34.2 points per game. Do you think he does it on the back end of this year? I don't.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I've seen James Harden do it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and then what happens in the playoffs with James Harden? I mean, maybe
Luka's already got better playoff moments.
Oh,
than James
for
Harden,
sure, for sure. But I don't know. I'm just not. I'm not convinced. And they might make a move here too. At the deadline.
Yep.
They could use some help.
Another MVP candidates team, the Denver Nuggets, 28-13. Nice one. First place in the Western Conference. Is this right? There's no way I have this information right. The Denver Nuggets, second in offense. I had 21st. Accidental fat finger there. Second in offense. Like, wait a second here. That looks ridiculous. Second in offense, 14th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as NBA championship contenders. Two-time MVP returning. They made some smart moves in the offseason.
Yep.
Shedding money, but getting players back who fit really well, especially KCP. Aaron Gordon's having an all-star-like season. Jamal Murray rounding into form. And then Jokic is maybe going to win a third straight MVP here. He's been awesome for this team, so I think they stay. I think they're still championship contenders.
I'm happy we had them there in the preseason as a championship
Super
contender.
happy.
They're making us look good here.
And the way Jokic is allowing others to get involved, I know he always does that, but to another level, dropped the field goal attempted this year, has only made his team better. And is only going to get his team a little more polished for the playoff run, just to get all those guys involved. Because you mentioned all their moves. They got less deep. They just don't have a great bench, a very polished bench. There's a lot on Bones Highland's shoulders coming off the bench. But the fact that Jokic gets Aaron Gordon involved so much, he'll get Porter involved, he gets Murray involved, he gets KCP involved, that just bodes well for the second half of the season and the postseason. And those guys, like Jamal Murray hasn't played his best ball yet. Porter obviously hasn't played his best ball yet, and they're still here on a 56-win pace.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's going to be a tough team to beat no matter what. And I know we'll talk about a little bit about the media survey and whether the Nuggets are the actual favorites in the Western Conference, even though they're first. So many teams can come out of the West, but the Nuggets have to be on top of mind for everybody right now. They've proven it, and they're only going to get better, I think.
Yeah. And look, you talk about a team having home court advantage. If they are the number one seed, they're amazing at home with that the mile high attitude and altitude.
They've got it both.
They have it both. I was gonna give credit to their fans, and I also wanted to give credit to the atmosphere.
Yes.
Like actually where they are, sea level wise. But both are playing a part, as you can tell.
And the TV station. Altitude. So
they got problems with their TV station. Fix it.
Fair point.
Denver can't watch their own team play through the best stretch that they've had in the past 30 years. That's honestly ridiculous. Shout out to my guy, Big Smooth. The Golden State Warriors, next in the tier makers' eyes, 20-21, 8th in the Western Conference, 17th in offense, 20th in defense. Our preseason tiers, we had them as a championship contender. They are the defending champions.
Yeah, you got to take it away from them.
Got to take it away from them. They're under 500 through 41 games.
Ooh.
And I ain't bumping them. I still got them as a championship contender.
Okay, why? Outside of the obvious reason having
They got Steph Curry. Yeah, that's a good reason. Their starting five is still awesome. Wiggins will be playing a lot more. Curry's going to be playing a lot more. They aren't going to play the guys who have kind of dragged them down on the road once it comes playoff time. So I don't know. You might want to consider them a flirt just because they've had a kind of disappointing season after the way things ended last year. But it's hard for me to bet against a Warriors team. Coming into the season, we thought this is maybe a last dance for them as well. You still hear Draymond talking about how he's going to figure out how to get his money for next season and where he might end up. It doesn't feel like a lock he's coming back to Golden State after the big deals they've signed. So this still could be the last run, even though that's kind of fallen by the wayside this season.
You keeping them at the top, number one tier, despite not being able to win on the road?
It's a very difficult question. How many teams we're going to lump into this NBA Finals category in the Western Conference? We know the Nuggets are going to are already there. How many teams can you put up there? Yeah, so I feel like it's a tiny bit of a stretch just because Steph is out. even though they have the best five-man unit in the NBA still, midway point of the season. The good thing for them is that they've figured out who to play on their bench, as Trey said. First 10 games going 3-7. They actually are 17-14. That's math since then. So they're getting better. I think I'm okay bumping them to a Final Four flirt, even though they can come out. But we got to differentiate them somehow.
True.
But I think when it comes down to it, 40 games from now, I may be picking them to come out of the West, depending what happens in the second half. So. Should I drop them? I don't know. I guess I'm just rewarding other teams that have played so much better than them in the first half.
Because of where they are in the standings right now, as we get closer and closer to the All-Star break, and because of the injuries to a couple of their main guys and stuff like that, their postseason is actually going to start well before the real postseason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, to get up the standings, to get out of a play-in. Like, I don't think they're winning the title if they're coming out of the play-in, right? To just even win a game to get in. That would be amazing. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet. We haven't had it that long. And maybe it will one day. But I feel like, after the All-Star break, when everybody is healthy, they've got the rotation, I think they will go on a run, and they'll lock in and start to play again, sort of like really consistent basketball with the idea of, like, we got to get up there. I mean, we are going to go back-to-back here. We got to get up in the standings. Now, they should be thankful in a way that there are so many teams. The Nuggets are great, obviously the Pelicans and the Grizzlies and stuff like that, but so many teams that they can catch quite easily.
Yeah.
2 weeks of good basketball, and they're like home court advantage in a playoff series. So I'm keeping them in the contenders.
Nice.
In the contenders. Or sorry, the championship contenders. Top level.
I thought
top
you were
tier.
definitely going to take them out. So
No,
I'm happy.
no.
I'm happy I'm the one knocking them down, because I am designated as the Warriors lover amongst our fans. There's no doubt. But they do have to play harder. You're right. In the second half of the season, that probably doesn't bode well for the playoffs. That they're probably going to be playing their guys somewhat heavy minutes because they do rely on their starting five. But they are the champs.
3-16 still on the road.
3-16.
That's crazy to see. But literally every Western Conference team, the best teams in the Western Conference on the road are 10-10. There are two. The Grizzlies and the Nuggets are 10-10 on the road.
Wow.
Every other team is below 500. So you want to be top 4 in the West, but it feels like Golden State. I mean, I guess they could get up to 4th, but
Sure.
they could pull a Houston Rockets,
Yeah.
6th seed to the championship.
And look, we're playing.
Back-to-back
We're
Jacks.
playing it's the respect card.
It's the respect card.
It's like I got the championship belt. You got to come and take it from me, okay?
Yeah.
You tweaked my ankle on the stairs. It was a cheap shot, all right? But I'm still the champ, and you got to win it.
Gotta win it.
At WrestleMania.
Listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts.
I listen to way too many wrestling podcasts. There's a lot of drama going on in wrestling right now, too. Stephanie McMahon just stepped down. Oh, my God. Vince McMahon is back. That is controversial. The Saudis might buy it. What the hell's going on? Anyway, let's keep going.
They're only speaking of King Saudis, the Kings are only 2.5 games above the Warriors for 4th. So
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
No,
1 week.
They're rising. They're rising.
1 week and they're
That
right
could
back
be
in the
quick.
mix.
All right. This one should be quick. The Houston Rockets, they're 10-31, 15th in the Western Conference, 29th on offense, 28th in defense. In the preseason, we had them in Area 51. They're going to stay there, but I'm feeling proud because I've seen the Houston Rockets get a win live this season, and I've seen the Charlotte Hornets get a win live this season. Probably not a lot of people that can say that.
No, not many.
Probably not. What's weird about the Houston Rockets, I remember us saying, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Okay. But we thought they might be one of the more entertaining worst teams in the league. And
Yeah,
I think that was true for like 15 games. I really do. Even though they started 1-9, and so they were losing a ton, they were fun games. They were in a lot of games. Obviously, they got a lot of guys that could put up highlights. But now that's even gone away. I mean, I know, you love the Shengun. We all do. But like, it is such there's something going on there where it's like, I'm just gonna get mine type of thing.
Yes,
with a lot
it
of their
is.
guards, and we talked about Eric Gordon wanting and all that. So it's not even enjoyable, right? Now
A lot of grumps around there, it feels like right now.
yeah, bad vibes. But we knew
Bad
they're going to be
vibes.
bad. They should be bad. Again, have a really good chance, probably a 14% chance. I think they're going to be one of the worst 3 teams in the league to get a really good chance at Wembanyama. So it's just It's a bummer. Just please trade Eric Gordon, please. Please, just get anything back. I don't even care at this point.
Get back Austin Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Yeah, so they're staying in Area 51.
Yeah.
Keep him in.
Yeah.
Let's keep 'em.
They've lost 8 in a row, man. Ooh. Yeah, they've lost 13 of their last 14. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's bad. Okay.
That one win was against the Bulls, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, I was there.
They killed the Bulls that night.
They did. They did indeed. Great game for Jalen Green. Great game for Alperen Şengün on that night.
There you go.
And maybe a career high for Kevin Porter Jr. as well. It was.
Whoa. I mean, they scored 133 points. That's probably their.
It wasn't. Maybe it was a season high for Jalen Green. Anyways,
The weird part is they thought they'd have good vibes with Boban Marjanovic.
that's a good point.
A
He was
Boban
brought there
Marjanovic team
specifically for vibes.
with bad vibes.
Well, we turned out it's 3 children inside of Boban.
That was a disappointment. That's why they've been so angry. They're like, "What? You're not just a tall
It's
guy?
3 kids
This is
on top of
wild."
each other's shoulders.
Here's a potential big faller for us ballers. The LA Clippers, 22-21. Currently 6th in the Western Conference. They are 27th in offense. Just 7th in defense. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
In the preseason, we had them as championship contenders.
Some of us did. Enough of us did, actually, I should say. I remember.
can't believe I would vote for that.
I remember
but I must
pushing
have.
back against this one. I didn't want to go championship contender. But, I mean, no, they're not there for me. They're at least a step down or two, tiers down or two. But I mean, it's like we just broken record with this team. I guess it's pretty amazing that they are that great on the defensive end, despite missing Paul George for chunks and obviously Kawhi. Kawhi's looking good right now.
He's playing
Robot
more.
Kawhi, he's playing. He's looking a little more old Kawhi like when it comes to scoring. But I'm not putting championship contender. Like, I don't care how open the West is. No way, man.
I found it pretty surprising that the media survey was taken and the Clippers, even though they were given the moniker of being the 9th best team in the entire NBA, were voted on as the team most likely to represent the West in the NBA Finals.
That's fascinating.
Weird. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. A lot of people just not having faith in the Nuggets and Grizzlies, that they'd pick the Clippers over those two teams. It shows you that the West is way more wide open than the East, but a lot of faith in this Clippers team to be great in the second half, and it seems a little bit unfounded. As much as I think it could happen, I'm willing to bump them down because this run here that Kawhi has been on, it's not like the way he came back after he came back from the injury with the Spurs and then with the Raptors. He played 60 games with the Raps that season. Not going to play that many this season, and he was balling. He was better than he is currently. So it's just kind of hard to imagine them going to the finals at this point. He's a unique person. He could change in the second half, but it's hard to throw him up there in that category. I agree, even though this media survey is really weird.
So
I
you're
think
going
there may be
Final
some fat
Four
fingers
flirts.
in that typing there.
Final Four
Final
flirts.
Four flirties? Sure.
I'm going playoff lock.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Clippers, but they do play defense. Even if Kawhi and Paul George are out, they're a really solid defensive team with all the switching and all the quick guys that they've got. Zubats obviously is their one big guy. It feels like the Clippers are a team that probably needs a little bit of roster balancing. Maybe they'll look for size going forward, but the only time I remember them looking like a championship team was when they beat the Celtics by 20. Celtics didn't have either of their big guys in Williams or Horford, but both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard played, and they held the Celtics to 93 points. Both of those guys went over 25. They look great. That was a month ago, and it's happened once.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're going to play enough together this season that they can win every single playoff series.
Yeah.
I think they could win any one playoff series.
Yeah.
But the consistency I don't think is going to be there. So, Skeets, it comes to you. Are you giving them a Final Four lock or a Final Four flirt or a playoff lock?
Playoff lock.
Alrighty.
Yep.
That's
for
fine.
all the reasons you said. And look, the biggest part is like, we get to April. Who's even playing? Like, is Kawhi playing? Paul George gets banged up from time to time. And just like, I mean, I guess in a weird way, they're like, the Bucks are bad offensively this year too, but I've got them going all the way, possibly to a conference finals at least. And the Clippers are similar. Like, their defense isn't as elite as the Bucks, But their offense is worse. Like, I can't talk myself into a team ranked 27th in offense to be like, oh, yeah, they're one of the 4 best teams easily.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that, so.
But where are they ranked when Kawhi plays? Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
of course.
Yeah.
But he doesn't play, so it's like...
Yeah, I'm fine with
I
the
like
law
that he's
category.
back. I'm happy he's back, and, man, he would have one of the strangest careers
Absolutely.
already when it's all said and done. He was voted top 75 player of all time, and it's just the most insane career, like with the finals MVPs and multiple championships and different squads. Like, imagine he did it again, which we thought maybe would be the case. Yeah. Obviously, when they put this team together, that was the goal. So, yeah, I like playoff lock, though, for Clips.
Let's stay in LA. Talk Lakers.
Oh, man.
They never come up. 19 and 22, 12th in the Western Conference. They are 18th in offense, 22nd in defense. In the preseason, we said this is a play-in potential kind of team. They've got a partial MVP season from Anthony Davis, a partial MVP season
Yeah, I guess
from
so.
LeBron James. Russell Westbrook has embraced his role coming off the bench. Big meatball Thomas Bryant is balling out there. Dennis Schroeder has been a find. Lonnie Walker, the new Malik Monk.
Okay.
I'm trying to make a case for the Lakers here.
Yeah.
They could maybe be a playoff lock team, but nothing feels locky with the Lakers right now.
Yeah.
They would be a playoff lock in the sense that you would believe they would come out probably of the play-in too.
True,
So
true.
The side door, they're coming through the garage.
Side door.
Yeah. Or even back door, but I can't like. I mean, is this insane to say that if everybody's healthy, I would take the Lakers against the Clippers in a matchup? Is that insane? That feels insane.
If all parties are healthy.
If everybody's healthy, which don't worry, this will never
Everybody's
happen
healthy.
with AD and Kawhi and Paul George and LeBron involved. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going playoff lock though. I'm sticking with where they are.
Sticking in the play-in.
Yeah.
Let's see here. They are currently 2 games out of the 6th
I
seed.
know they're
Yeah.
close. They're close.
Yeah.
Glut. Big glut.
It's just still a long time before the playoffs.
Yes, it is.
So they could easily, Anthony Davis is coming back at some point, but he could be hurt again. And they have fought to get to where they are. They do scrap defensively. We put them in the play-in tournament preseason because that's the right spot for them. I think we should keep it there.
Play-in?
Yeah, I think we should keep it there.
Hold on. Do you believe Pelinka and Jeannie Buss are going to do something here? Are they going to trade one at least of their future picks after this somewhat pressure from LeBron and them, him playing at this level and them sort of getting back into the playoff sort of picture? If they trade the 27 or that 29 first round pick for a decent player, like let's say that garners you back something, a Bogdanovich, a Buddy maybe, a player of that caliber, does that not then push them up to a playoff lock?
I think they have a trade potential, but I don't know if it's a trade lock.
Oh,
I don't
trade
know.
lock! Wow,
I don't know.
New tier system.
Trade lock, there equals playoff lock, but trade potential equals play-in potential.
That's why I have
They
them as
need
a playoff lock. I think Pelinka will do it, and they'll get back a notable player like that will slot in as their 3rd or 4th best player, and put me down for a playoff lock.
All right, you're in on playoff lock. We're keeping them in play-in potential.
Oh
here.
wow, okay, that's
don't know,
fine.
man. I just feel like LeBron is putting so much pressure on the Lakers right now that all of the messaging from the Lakers seems to be, well, we might trade one pick, but it's feeling really unlikely that they make a splashy move and include both of them. Maybe the summer is when it actually happens. That's kind of what Dave McMenamin was saying on the Zach Lowe podcast not too long ago. So Lakers still weird to figure out. They're in 12th place right now, but they got a chance to rise. Here's one that's easy to figure out. The Memphis Grizzlies, they're 28 and 13. They're 2nd in the Western Conference, 12th in offense, 1st in defense. In the preseason, we had them as Final Four flirts, and guess what? They got to move up a tier. They can win the championship this year.
You believe so?
I do believe they can. John Morant, force of personality. Impossible to stay out of the lane. Desmond Bane, one of the 5 best shooters in the league. Jaren Jackson Jr. might win Defensive Player of the Year. They got toughness. They got a style. They have been through it. They've played in playoff series. They've played in tough playoff series. They are ready to take the next step. There are teams I certainly think can beat the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies have a shot to win the championship this year, I think.
Yeah, it's really on both Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s offense ability, shot making, creativity, if they're going to go all the way. They got the locker room. They do have the bravado. They got the swagger to get there. There's no doubt. Will they be able to do it offensively when defenses stop the fast breaks and collapse a little bit on Ja? Can't wait to see, because their offense is not top 10. And so that's going to be a bit of an issue in the playoffs. But the West is open. And it's really, to me, it's relying on how much Jaren Jackson Jr. can grow and Desmond Bane can grow. So I wouldn't pick them coming out of the West, but I think they can come out of the West.
Ooh, so you have top tier here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Wow. Whew. I mean, you guys are painting a great picture of why they could get there. If it broke right, and potential matchups and stuff like that, and maybe you didn't run into a team that gives them problems or whatever, like a Warriors or something. They lost in the first round, then they lost in the semis last year. So are they taking like 2 steps to a finals? I would like to personally put them where I had the Nets, which would be a Final Four flirt. But, are they just as good as the Nuggets?
Right.
Or the Warriors where they are? And yeah, you're probably right. They probably are. And this is a 56-win team last year, too.
Yeah, and they're on pace for the exact same record despite injuries to Jaren Jackson Jr., big one to Desmond Bane. Yep. So they're on pace for the exact same record. Home court advantage just as good as the altitude attitude. The exact same record, 18-3 at home, which is surprising. So if they get that 1 seed,
you're right.
They could take 2 steps.
They got to be in that top tier.
Yeah.
They've proven it. What they can do, just how important Jaren Jackson Jr. is.
That's awesome.
Sure, defensively.
Welcome to the top tier, boys. Welcome.
Greg Popovich gave him the kiss of approval.
Oh, he did.
This week. That's nice.
Yeah, best defense. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I like it. Next team,
the Minnesota Timberwolves, 20-22. They are in 10th place right now. They are 19th in offense. They are 16th in defense.
Ooh.
In the preseason, we thought it was going to work. We said this is a playoff lock.
Yeah, did we?
And they're still close. They're still making a run at the playoffs here. Sure, the face of the franchise isn't playing. It's weird that they are playing a little better with the face of the franchise out.
Right.
But they are playing a little bit better. And it seems to me that they're at least figuring out we're going as far as Anthony Edwards takes us. So let him be the one who takes us somewhere. It's definitely been a dramatic season to start for Minnesota, but if they can figure out how to give a consistent effort, they can win some games. So, I mean, they're probably playing potential, which is a downgrade, but I don't know. Sometimes I think it's not as bad as it seems for the Timberwolves. But then you see him give up 135 to a team like the Pistons. You're like, yeah, it is. It is as bad as it seems.
They came into this season with expectations, and that punched them in the mouth.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and trying to figure out their new squad with Gobert and how that was going to work with Towns. And, should it be Ant's team? They missed guys, too. Like, Prince being out, I think, really hurt them. Like, when you have that top-heavy talent, you need those guys, the glue guys, to fill in amongst them. D'Angelo Russell is such a polarizing player. It looks great one game. He saves them in a fourth quarter, then looks like complete garbage. You just want to get rid of them. I think they're a play-in team. I think that's where they'll be at the end of the year. I don't really even like their chances to maybe even get into the playoffs from there, but who knows? That's down the line. But that's where I would have them. That's the tier I'd have them. So down 1, because we thought Rudy Gobert was going to automatically make them one of the best defenses in the league.
Yep.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people thought, and that hasn't been the case. Turns out you needed Walker Kessler. But no. So that's why I got them. I got them down. I got to knock them down, Tess.
I totally agree. I would knock them down 1. They are the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's what they are. They can't put it together. They play down to their competition.
They do that.
I think here us we make the calls here from the couch and from the desk. We just assume that Tim Connolly trading so many draft picks for Rudy Gobert, he just knew more than us. That he would. I think that was part of why you would trade so many draft picks. We just had faith in an NBA GM would make the right call. Obviously, as Trey said, it seems worse than it is. But Rudy Gobert is at the peak of his powers right now. He's not going to get fresher as the years go on. Now I'm thinking long term. And if you dig deep into the numbers, Seth Partnow had a great piece on The Athletic about how he protects the rim and his intimidation level there. And the numbers are not as good as they were. Now, is that just getting to know each other? I don't think so. I think that's just Rudy Gobert not having the effect that we thought he would. And the locker room just ain't the same. And so I don't know if that comes around either. So there's too many question marks for me to lock them into anything. So play in for me.
They've had, you talked about like playing down in their competition. They've had bad losses to bad teams. They've lost twice to the Spurs, twice to the Pistons. There's another garbage one in there too. Like those could come back to haunt them in terms of like potentially being the 6th seed or above in the West, or even seeding and having to win on the road or win twice or wherever in a play-in tournament. Like those add up, you know. Yep. Like I know you can't win them all or anything like that, and not like they haven't had good wins against good teams too, but they're not really taking care of the crappy teams that they play. You know, they've lost to Thunder, but they're a pretty good team.
11-13 against teams below 500.
Yeah, like they should be better than that.
It's Hawks like the way they don't get back in transition. They don't seem like they love each other from quarter to quarter. Like you don't have to love each other, but you got to play hard. They don't play hard.
Right.
So
right,
it's
right.
kind of hard to bet.
It'll be fascinating to see when Cat comes back. I mean, that's not that long from now. And will they change how they played with him and Gobert? Like, will he just like they're trying to make it work with both of those like guys inside the 3-point line? Will Cat go back to just like gunning away from 3-point distance and letting it fly? He says he's the greatest big man to ever let it fly from 3. Like, will he try and stretch the floor more? I mean, they have questions, and like, you know, you had Cat, you'd think you'd be a better team, but we've seen maybe that wasn't the case at the start of the season. So play in for me.
Play in, I think, is good. The New Orleans Pelicans, they are 25-17. They are 3rd in the Western Conference, 6th on offense, 6th on defense. In the preseason, we said this team is a playoff lock. Their 2 leading scorers are out right now.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson out for a
amazing.
while. Brandon Ingram has been missing time for quite a while. CJ McCollum has certainly stepped up in their absence, making a run at the All-Star game. I think this has been one of the surprise teams of the league, how good they've been.
Yep.
I think if we did this podcast before Zion got hurt, our picks might change, but I'm willing to put them in a Final Four flirt category just because if Zion's healthy, they got a chance against anybody. If Brandon Ingram's healthy, this team was pretty solid last year in the playoffs against the Suns, even though they did lose in that series. I just think the Pelicans, the biggest question for them is who's going to be on the floor when they play. The good thing is they have a ton of depth that they can withstand some of these injuries, but I just think they're a really good team who knows how to play together, even though they never get a chance to play together.
They are so good. Their depth is coming through, even with Ingram and Zion out. Still worried about them being on the floor and maintaining a top seed, because if you're talking about Final Four flirts, you got to be a 4 seed. You don't expect this team to win 2 series on the road. They are I say that, and then I think about they fought the Suns last year without Zion being in the lineup. Just worry about Zion coming back healthy. This Brandon Ingram toe situation, not having played in 7 weeks, but reports the last couple weeks that he's coming back. But still, the depth is so good. I'm fine keeping them around because they are a scrappy bunch. And they just need one more star even. Just one of those guys to come back. So, yeah, I worry about them both playing, Zion and Ingram, and I definitely worry about the hamstring coming back early and how he's going to look when he comes back. But one of those guys, and they're good.
This is both a compliment and possibly a kiss of death. I would have them in a Final Four flirt because I could see them doing what the Hawks did 2 years ago and what the Mavericks did last year. So they could get to a conference finals. And I think they would need to have, it would help if they had at least home court advantage in that first round. But like the Hawks, I think in a 4-5 matchup against the Knicks, right, where they won an MSG, you got to be in that 4-5 slot to then go there. They could do it. They could do it for all the reasons you guys said. Obviously, they have incredible players when they're healthy and they're all back. They should be elite, and they got great depth. I think Willie Green deserves a lot of Coach of the Year consideration when you consider all the injuries they've had to some of their main guys. But I'm not going championship contender, but it could break in this wide open, what feels wide open West, for them to make a run to the conference finals, to win a series or two, which would be an incredible year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a first round series, I think, that's like bar minimum for them, right? That's if they don't do that, I think a bummer of a season.
Yeah, I agree.
They win a first round series, put up a fight in the second round series. If they don't win, that's good. So yeah, Final Four flirt.
Final Four flirt.
They're like doing this from across the room.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh wait, Willie
Oh,
Green.
I didn't even move him in there.
Willie Green, by the way, saw him last night. Was it last night or 2 nights ago?
There you go.
He looks in better shape than he did as a player.
Huh.
Chew on that.
Chew on that.
What's your secret, Willie Green? I think he looks great.
And he's
he
in New
looks
Orleans. Good
fit.
eating. Ben Yates.
I remember him to be maybe had a little more weight
Stockier
when he was a
for a
player,
guard,
but he
yeah.
looks awesome.
He's not chewing on that. I think that's the secret. Don't eat.
Yeah. Maybe it's the stress of being a coach too.
Yeah.
Late nights.
But then that means you could stress eat, or you wouldn't eat at all because you're stressing about game plans. Get your head in the books. Watching film.
I think his idol, or the guy who learned a lot from, Monty Williams, also looks great. He looked good when he played too, but he also
he was like.
they both look great.
Maybe I'm misremembering
Nah, you're.
Willie Green's body weight when he played. I feel like
jersey.
baggy jerseys didn't help. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He just looked like schleppier to me. This guy looks fit, man, right now. Willie Green could play. Put him in.
Hey, what about this guy? What about this coach? This will be an interesting case. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're 18-23. They're 13th in the Western Conference after a really hot start. They're 20th in offense. They're 11th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as an Area 51 team. They've had a cool year. They're going to have an all-star in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's very likely he wins the Ja Morant MVP award, which is really most improved player.
Right.
But we can't quite give you MVP, but you kind of deserve it, and you're very cool. Ergo, we'll gift it to you. I think they stay in Area 51, though. I don't think they're going to make a run into
really?
the play-in tournament in the second half of the season. But this season has still been a success and a step forward for OKC.
A huge success, no matter where we put them in the tiers or where they finish. I mean, SGA going to the level he has and very likely being an all-star. Jalen Williams, that looks like a hit as a rookie pick, despite obviously Chet not even playing for them. Their offense, though, over the last 2 or 3 weeks is unreal. I mean, they had the game where they put up 150, but they've had 130-point games, 125, 123, 127. This is this offense with Giddey and SGA and some of the
Giddey's
guys
playing
that put
well.
whew, like you talk about a team that's going to like blow up some positioning for teams in standings wise or where they are in the play-in or not and stuff like that later in the season. I think it'll be them, and I would put them in the play-in potential.
I think we should.
I think they've proven that they're a step better than those Area 51 teams that are like gonna probably lean more into the tank. I don't think OKC will do it this year. I don't think SGA will be shut down for weeks on time. I don't think they should. They should get reps, continue to improve with their core, and then hope for next year when you add Chet and whatever pick you add to really maybe make some noise and actually get into a playoff series next year. But I'm going playing potential.
It is
crazy?
It is no. Maybe in other ways, but when we're talking about,
I feel like I'm going crazy.
yeah, it's been a long day here at the Factor.
I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Let's do another podcast after this. Let's talk about refs. Ref
Sickos.
podcast.
Ref tiers.
Ref tiers.
You want to know
Love
how
ref tiers.
we counted how many NBA referees there are in between our 2 podcasts? That's how much of a sicko podcast this is. I already forget the number. I think it was 74.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 women?
8 women of
Yep.
the 74.
All right, you guys talked me into it with those refs facts. The Oklahoma City Thunder have play-in potential.
Oh, is that where you are? With
Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Their offense is really, really fun to watch. It was fun. We got to watch them on playback where you can watch along with us, and that was a blast. Last 5 games, this is cherry-picked, but they have the 3rd best offense in the NBA.
Yeah. Wow.
Did I pick that instead of 6 and 7 when they drop in the rankings? Of course. But they have this nice little window here of, Giddey getting to the rim. He is a scrappy guy, as they're saying here. Pierre Publico in the stream team. Everybody on that team feels scrappy, though. And that's why it's almost disrespectful to me to drop them into the Wembanyama rankings because they play so freaking hard. And they're a joy to watch. So they're right there with the play-in teams.
Yeah. Okay. Will they be the 10th seed or will
Maybe
they
not,
end
but-
11th? Probably more likely they end 11th. But I think it's clear enough of those really bad teams.
Yeah, I love that. We're giving them this as an award.
Yeah.
You get to be
Yeah.
in the play-in potential because you played so well the first half of the season. They earned it. The Phoenix Suns, they didn't earn it.
Oof.
21-22. They're 7th in the Western Conference. They're 10th in offense. They're 12th in defense. In the preseason, we had them as Final Four flirts.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Dropping slowly and quickly.
But are they if Devin Booker is playing and healthy? Do you still believe enough in this team? Or is the Chris Paul drop off too significant? Is it how you feel about Ayton and what he gives to a team and maybe also takes away, the rest of the depth of this team, the vibe. I don't know. I mean, I know we were confused with this team in the preseason even. But then we were like, they're still going to be good. They're still going to win a ton of regular season games. And they were. Were they not first at one point in the Western Conference?
Definitely.
A couple weeks in.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
taking Devin Booker out has just completely derailed them. Like, he's important. Turns out a guy that is a walking bucket is important to your chances. But I don't know, Tad. I don't know where to put this one.
Well, they're a top 11 and top 12 defense, so they are right there. And as soon as Devin Booker comes back, they'll jump up those standings, or those rankings, I should say. I think they should be a Final Four flirt.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's crazy, bro.
It is crazy.
I love me some Book, but even that.
Maybe I'm just covering my bases because my bold prediction was they were going to finish in the play-in, and that could happen. Just trying to pat myself on the back, I guess. But that's only happened because of the Devin Booker injury. That's why I'm comfortable saying they are a flirt. He has to come back. He has to be healthy.
Cam Johnson as well. I did forget about that.
Yeah.
They're missing 3 of their top 6 from last season, basically.
Yeah, that's why. And the Chris
4
Paul.
if you count Chris Paul.
The Chris Paul drop-off is real.
Yeah.
But I don't really knock that or really think that's the reason that they're going to be in the play-in, because Cam Payne can come in and be awesome. And I know that's maybe a stretch to some, but I think they can be there. I think we're here in this window where they're hurt, but I think if you zoom out, I think they could be back. Because you never know with the injury to Devin Booker, it could linger. But he is so damn important.
It's a groin
to them.
injury, which is always scary. I mean, we even saw him come back from it, right? And then it was re-aggravated, so that's an issue. Cam Johnson, I think, is still out for a significant amount of time. Obviously, what are they doing with Crowder? Are they getting anything back in return? Are they making a move? Chris Paul is looking like a 37-year-old point guard, unfortunately. Still can hit the 3 with pretty good consistency. It's like 40% from 3, Chris Paul. But, he looks like he's not the all-star that he was last year and the year before that and the year before that. Chris Paul.
Oklahoma City Thunder all-star.
Wild, right? To remember that. I got to go. I'll go playoff lock. That's where I settle. I can't go. I think the Grizzlies and the Pelicans and the Nuggets and the Warriors, and I think there's too many teams that I would take over them.
Really, since Booker's been out, which is December 9th, I know he's played a couple games in between then, but on December 9th, they were the 3rd seed in the West. And so that's how I kind of look at them. Okay. But since then, they have obviously fallen. So
I'm going to go with Skeets here. I think playoff lock. I think they're going to side door it through the play-in tournament because I think the Suns are completely cooked. I think it's over, this era of the Suns.
Wow.
I think they are the current version of the Utah Jazz, where they were an awesome regular season team. The eventual playoff shortcomings got to them. And I think.
So you think that's already reared its ugly
I think it is
head.
done.
So it's like a little earlier than it happened with Utah.
Yeah.
It gave it a little longer run.
Yeah, because Chris Paul is a lot older than Mitchell and Gobert were.
Yeah.
So I think that once Booker comes back, which is still a couple of weeks before he's reevaluated, they will start winning games good enough to keep their spot in the Western Conference. But I don't think anybody fears this team at all.
Yeah. Okay. Playoff lock.
Portland Trailblazers, 19-21. They are 11th in the Western Conference. They are 15th in offense, 17th in defense. In the preseason, we came down on them as a play-in potential team. Though Skeets, I know you were.
I was high on them.
You were probably arguing playoff lock, if I'm
so.
not mistaken. Had a great start to the season. Lillard has looked mostly Lillard-like since his return. He's missed a bunch of time. Jeremy Grant, been a great find for the Trailblazers. Anthony Simons. Mixed results, I would say, playing on a more competitive team compared to the tanking team that he was on last year when he was dominating. So what are we thinking? Play-in potential seems pretty legit to me here.
So sticking where we had
Staying
them.
where we had them, yep.
Yeah.
what do you think? You were high on them.
Well, if we had done this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think you guys probably would have been agreeing that they were a playoff lock and going up a tier, but they've fallen apart. They can't win on the road at all. I know they have a huge homestand here. I don't think it started all that well, if I remember correctly, with a loss. I like them. I'm just confused by them. I can't believe they fixed their defense a little bit, which made sense. Grant's there. Gary Payton II hasn't played a ton, but Nurk's done a better job there. they've got some pieces to help, but then the offense is completely sort of cratered. Like, I do wonder, I forget who said this on a podcast, so apologies, but like, Lillard and Simons, man, they take a lot of threes, those two guys. Like, both of them, a ton.
10 plus each.
To not hit them at the clip you'd like to see, when you get into those volumes of three-point shooting, they're a little too low for my liking, so maybe that just ticks up because they're great players. But I'm fine with a play-in tournament spot. That's probably where they'll be. And that'll be disappointing to me. Me, Tess.
Yeah. I understand the hopes, the roster building. It looked right. It looked good.
Oh, your guy, Justice Winslow.
Yes.
Was playing really well. He was.
Yes, a poor man's Scottie Pippen.
Wow.
Yes. He's poor. It's fine.
Very poor.
Poor Iguodala.
Sure. That's even better, maybe.
That's great. You can just name guys. When you say poor, you just... It's whatever. He's
Drew
worse
Eubanks
than this player.
Drew Eubanks, a poor man's Jakob Poeltl.
Nice.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's a good one. Playing is the way to go with this team. It is disappointing. Their offense is... It's Hawks-like, I guess you can say. Two guard-heavy lineups. Those guys have to be productive. And I guess it's even more disappointing than the Hawks because you got Jeremy Grant, who has been playing really, really well. So you see a mediocre defense. That's all you wanted from the Blazers. That's what they're giving you. You'd think the offense would be better. That's the disappointing part. But Dame in the second half could be Dame time.
Well, look, it could be now. I'm telling you, they have 9 of their next 10 games at home. They basically are in Portland for all of January. All of it, outside of going to Denver for one game.
Oh, it's going to be rainy.
Oh, just so miserable.
Yeah.
Beautiful city, though. It looks like a train set, Portland.
It does, actually.
It's amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
But they have the Cavs tonight. Then they have 2 games against the Mavericks. These are all in Portland. Then they go to Denver. Then they play Philadelphia. These are good teams coming into
That's
Portland
a
here.
lot of good
Then they have the
teams.
Lakers, the Spurs, the Jazz, the Raps, and the Hawks. So it gets maybe a little bit better, but important stretch here for determining whether we're going to be correct where we put them in the tier as a play-in team, or maybe a playoff luck if they can, go 7-3 or 8-2 or something nuts at home, which they could with explosive offensive players to go with good, decent defense. So yeah, play-in though.
Play-in. Not too bad to be in the play-in.
No.
Sacramento Kings, they're 22-18. Woo! 4th right now in the Western Conference. The offense is 3rd in the league. The defense is 24th in the league. In the preseason, we said this is a play-in team. Who's ready to upgrade the Sacramento Kings?
Me, man. We are about to award the Sacramento Kings their 2023 championship by saying they are a playoff lock.
JD, hit the celebration music.
Yeah, balloons should drop. Streamers should fire.
Oh,
yeah.
got it.
We used to have those things when we worked at the Starter. We'd fire those confetti guns.
Oh, I could
Everybody
never
hated
figure
them.
those things out.
Yeah, because then they just got to clean it all up.
Yeah, we would have to clean it.
Yeah, we didn't have to.
Not we.
But,
No, we would here, I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's why we don't fire the
No
lots
way.
in here. It's tight quarters. It's like a fire hazard, I believe, too, in the garage. But yeah, playoff lock. I feel very confident about that. Why wouldn't we?
JD, hit the lock 'em in.
Oh,
Let's just see what all he's got. Deep in the bag.
that's tough.
That would be a deep pull. I'm in on Sacramento. The defense, hilariously, is not better. I mean, it's better than worst in the league, which is what it had been for the past few seasons, but up to 24th, it ain't nothing to write home about. But they can score on anybody. Their starting 5 fits really, really well.
Yep.
And the chemistry between Sabonis and Fox benefits the both of them. Fox doesn't have to do everything. Sabonis doesn't have to do everything. One of the both of them is going to be an all-star. I think they're going to continue to be a really good offense, and that can win you a bunch of regular season games. So the Kings shall finish in the top 6.
Wow,
in the
they are
Western
gonna
Conference.
snap the streak, man.
Respect
for
to
the
you guys.
first time. No, for the second time in the history of this podcast, we will have the ability to talk about a Sacramento Kings playoff game. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
We started 05-06.
Yep. We
And
started.
that's when they last made it.
That's crazy.
We haven't talked about a Kings playoff game since. We're gonna be lighting the beam here.
No, you guys called it at the beginning of the season. I didn't believe it. I thought they'd have to be better defensively. They haven't really had to be better defensively.
Not a ton.
No, but their offense is awesome because primarily I think Domantas Sabonis just being that guy who gets everyone involved has got no problem doing that. And Fox can be a high-volume guy. The Kevin Huerter steal from the Hawks is something that goes under the radar, but Kevin Huerter was given away by the Hawks because they had to pay others, and he has been phenomenal, shooting 42% on 8 threes a game. And Barnes, just another steady guy in the starting lineup. So their offense is just good. You're right, it's not going to go anywhere. You got Malik Monk coming off the bench, so they're fine.
He's probably on the short list of 6 Man of the Year candidates, Malik Monk, how he's played for them. I don't think he's going to win it, but he's there. This is a solid team. They have, I always say this, I love an identity with a team. We know what the Kings are about. It's score, 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 baby. And you've got 2 borderline all-stars or all-stars, hopefully, in Sabonis and Fox, who's played. Fox has been clutch this season in a lot of games. He's had a couple where he blew it, but that's okay. He's taking the shots and setting up guys, so I think they're doing it. We've completely cursed them now. Now we've ruined it. But
as
I
long
like
as
to
the
see them
beam
there.
still works, it's all good.
Hey, try and find a team with better vibes than the Kings this year. They're a handful.
Incredible vibes.
You know, Grizzlies always got great vibes. A couple other teams that we see above them, but the Kings are they're feeling themselves, and rightfully so. And their fan base is awesome. It always has been, even though they've been garbage for 15 years.
Sabonis' thumb doesn't have good vibes because he's playing with a broken thumb.
The guy's an ox.
He is. He's fighting through it. Dad's got to be proud. He's playing like a young Arvydas Sabonis, getting everybody involved. If he was out, if he had to have surgery, it would be totally different, the way their offense runs. But he's fighting through it. So, playoffs, baby.
Playoffs.
I'd like to go to Sacramento for a playoff game. I'll tell you that right now. Let's get that on the calendar.
Light the beam. Fly the plane, light the beam.
I'd love to go tip over a cow. I've never been to Sacramento, but...
I've never been to Sacramento, but I've tipped over a cow. It's fun. Monty McNair, Executive of the Year. Book it.
Wow, because of the Huerter move and the Malik Monk move. Wow.
Huerter and Fox, and he made the Sabonis trade last year. It doesn't count, but they give you credit for it anyways.
Okay.
San Antonio Spurs, they're 13-29. They're 14th in the Western Conference, 28th in offense, 30th in defense. In the preseason, Greg Popovich said, I don't think we're going to win the championship. Don't bet on us to win the NBA title. So we put him in Area 51.
Yeah.
Greg knows his team. They're staying in Area 51.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
I mean, look, I maybe cost somebody some money out there. I guess they could still technically do it. They had a very low over-under total, right? They were like one of the worst. Was it 22 maybe? Something like that?
They can still do that.
22, 23. And I was saying, hit the over. I'm sorry, man. This is a Popovich team. They're going to win games they shouldn't. They're going to be in a lot of games, despite being bad even. They might get that. They may not, though, too. Hey, coming up on Friday night, though, 65,000 people in the Alamo Dome to see the Spurs take on the Warriors on national television.
Let's go.
That was a game we should have gone to. We could have been a part of history. Wouldn't you like
Be in
to
a
say
big
that?
dome.
Like our buddy Grish, for the longest time, I don't know if it stands anymore, but he was at the Pontiac Silverdome for WrestleMania 3. Sorry to bring it back to wrestling. But that was like a 70,000 plus crowd. He was there. I always held that over me. It's like, you've never been in a real crowd. God damn it.
It's got
A real crowd.
You're right. But I can at least counter with a 65,000 plus if we go to the Alamo Dome on Friday.
You've driven across the border to a Buffalo Bills game. That's a crowd. That's like
not that many.
60 maybe on a good
NFL
day.
stadiums are big.
Yeah, they are.
So I don't know if it's 60.
Is it that big? Oh, it used to be called Wilson, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ralph.
Ralph
Yeah.
Wilson. I'll look it up.
Lying in bed just like Ralph Wilson.
What the hell were we talking about? Oh, the Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
Spurs, Devin Vassell's a player. Trey Jones is a player. Moving on. And Jakob Poeltl, will they deal Yak? The Yak. I don't know with this team. They're a question mark. This is a big question mark.
It'll be unreal if they get like win the lottery though, and get like Wembanyama after obviously having David back in the day, then getting Tim, and they get like a third
David.
David and Tim. David, Tim, and Victor.
Hold on, let me call it Mr. Robinson. I was in his neighborhood or his playground. What was it?
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers had
Yeah, but Mr. Robinson's. Like David Robinson had an ad around either the neighborhood or the.
It was a neighborhood.
Looks like a neighborhood.
I call him David because I live by him. So, what are they saying? You guys got Wembanyama, number 1, big guy. Jesus. It'd be like 3 iconic, potentially iconic. I don't want to put too much pressure on the alien, but, iconic big guys. Hall of Famers.
David, Tim, Victor.
David, Tim, Victor.
What was it? Playground or neighborhood? Neighborhood, right?
I Googled Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, and all I got was the Eddie Murphy sketch from Saturday Night Live back in the day. No, you're right. I think it is Neighborhood because he's like walking down the street and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't do a secondary Google because I didn't know we were going this deep on David.
I believe it's Neighborhood.
There we go. It's confirmed. Yep. Final team. We made it to the Utah Jazz. 29-23. 9th in the Western Conference as it stands. Is that true? Did I write that one down right? Yes, I did. Sometimes it surprises myself.
No,
Utah Jazz.
It's a little surprising.
Yeah, just because they're on the verge of dropping out,
Yeah.
I feel like. They are 4th in offense, 27th in defense. In the preseason, we said this is an Area 51 team, kind of not knowing when and if they would trade all of their veterans, and also not expecting Lauri Markkanen to become Larry Bird.
Yeah,
With hops.
We didn't see that coming.
Larry Bird couldn't hold Lauri Markkanen this season.
Yeah, he dunked on the Bulls 8 times.
Yes.
Career high 8 dunk game for Lowry Markkanen.
Did Larry Bird ever have a game where he dunked 8 times? I'm going to guess no.
Did Larry Bird have 8 dunks?
Yeah,
Probably.
look, a lot of people thought this would be the worst team in the league. And they started gangbusters. They were number 1 in the Western Conference at one point. For like a while, yeah. And they were holding on to that. Now they've since fallen back to earth. We have an odd bet going. Will they be over 500 by the end of the year? I don't think we put anything on it, but Taz said yes. I said no. And, we'll see here. I don't think they will be. But I think they'll be in the, I don't know, is this a play-in level on the tier?
I think so.
Probably. They're almost like too good at this point to even catch your
I wouldn't drop
bad teams.
I can't drop them because I don't think Larry Markkanen's slowing down. Those numbers are a little wild that he's leading the 4th best offense in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty surprising.
This team is basically the Kings.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Really good offense.
That
really,
they're
really
this bad
defense.
defensively is also surprising in the same breath because they feels like they do play hard, and that's been slacking a little bit. They could definitely finish sub 500 because one injury really hurts them, and that obviously happens to every team. But I don't think Lowry's going anywhere, and for that reason, I keep them in the play-in tournament.
I think they're going to finish under 500 and out of the play-in, but I want to put them in the play-in category as an award.
Yeah, I'm fine
Similar
with
to
that.
the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've earned being out of the dregs of the NBA.
They traded away 2 of their greatest players in franchise history, right? In Mitchell and Gobert.
Yep.
Over the offseason. Usually do that. Yeah, you're getting a lot of picks back, but you're going to be very, very bad. And instead, they've gotten guys, obviously, in Lauri Markkanen, a little still to be seen with Colin Sexton, but guys like Vanderbilt and Beasley come back. A lot of people, Kessler, obviously, coming back in the Gobert trade. Wow, what a win to be this good at this point, to have all these picks.
Yep.
Still have a direction to go if you want to get even more, maybe get another young player. You could move Conleys and Olenek and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised they do that, especially now that they've fallen a little bit down to where is maybe more normal in terms of the standings in the West. But what a year they had. Simone Fontecchio. Simone Fontecchio. We had that short. That did well with the White Lotus. Won a couple Golden Globes. Shout out to Mike White. What a year, man.
What a year. What a year. Danny's going to
year.
get some Executive of the Year votes if they continue to be in this play-in tournament, which I think they will. They've played 20 games at home, 24 on the road. I know that's not a huge split, but being where they are in terms of the record right now, if they played even number of games, they'd be a 500 team. It's not.
You still think they'll be 500 at the end of the year? I do.
I know
mean,
it's tough to say,
that's tough.
but I'm gonna go with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll with it because they do have a great home crowd. Yeah, it's tough because Larry Markkanen has been so good. The injury thing is really gonna hurt at some point. Jordan Clarkson has also been really good, and that's why their defense is kind of meh at times. But yeah, there's still a positive in the net rating category. I think they Ochai Agbaji, the other guy that they got from the Cleveland trade, is starting to play.
Right.
I believe. I know he's not going to be a big factor, but I believe there'll be a ish. a 500-ish team.
Hey, if in the final couple weeks of the season they're fighting for a play-in spot, and you have, let's say, Lauri Markkanen in your All-Star game in Salt Lake City, I mean, that's a win-win right there, man. What a season.
This is already a win.
I know.
The only thing we talked about with the Jazz over the summer was their trades and how dumb their uniforms looked. And now we're talking about them having a cool All-Star. What a win.
The finisher, great nickname as well.
Yeah, did you see Amir Blumenfeld wants to start calling him Mortal Kombat? Because he finishes it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I do actually like that.
Get over here. Is that what they said?
That's what Scorpion said. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. These are a bunch of good nicknames for NBA players.
Scorpion,
within the Mortal
Sub-Zero.
Kombat. Yeah. Well,
Trey.
Sonya Blade.
Sonya Blade.
Johnny Cage.
like these are all good nicknames for
Who's
guys.
the Johnny Cage of the NBA? Tune in after the break.
Okay, yeah, let's take our final break.
Damn, we got another segment?
Oh my God, yeah, we got Pay the Bills. We'll be right back. If you rang in the new year with someone special and 2023 will be a new chapter in your relationship, Indochino is ready to help you look your best on your big day. With a variety of customizable details and fabrics, Indochino can help you create anything from made-to-measure blazers and suits to a custom tuxedo, all with no tailor necessary. I've got my sister-in-law's wedding coming up in May. It's finally happening after years of being canceled because of the pandemic and stuff like that. And I'm in the market for a new suit. Because I have suits, and they're fine, they look okay, but I think they're getting a little too tight. And I feel like if I'm gonna be out there on the dance floor, like cutting it up, like something's gonna rip. So it'd be hilarious, but I also don't want a ripped suit while I'm dancing at my sister-in-law's wedding.
Yeah, that's a good
Because I get down out there at a wedding. So,
You drop it low?
hell yeah. So it's back to Indochino for this guy. I custom ordered a short sleeve sort of dress shirt last summer. It was a banger. It's getting compliments on it left and right. So back to Indochino I go. Gives you everything you need to create a custom suit that's right for you. Shop online by setting up your measurement profile and choosing the fabric and customizations you want. If you prefer an in-person experience, I get it. Human touch. It's nice. Just book an appointment at an Indochino showroom and work with an expert style guide to take your measurements and walk you through your options. And then you just sit back and you wait while your suit is made for you and it's delivered straight to your door. If you're ringing in 2023 with wedding bells ahead, either your own wedding or one where you have zero responsibility like me and just need to kill it on the dance floor, start planning your custom look with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use the code NODUNKS to get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com. Promo code NODUNKS.
Copy here says a lot of guys want a better sex life. A lot. More like all. Show me a man who says his sex life is perfect. I'll show you a liar. We all know guys like that, right?
Yeah, man.
And up to, but we don't hang out with them. And up to 50% of men have symptoms that get in the way of wanting or enjoying sex. That's 50%. So if that's you, you're not part of the minority. You are part of the majority. And Roman is here to help. Roman is the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain your sex goals. For instance, in men with low T, I didn't know that's what it was called, getting testosterone levels back to normal, low T, get it up to high T. If you get it up to normal levels, that can help increase your libido. And I think this is cool. Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing, and if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low testosterone. Complete an online visit detailing your symptoms and medical history. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will review your information and make a personalized treatment recommendation. Roman will ship your treatment in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping if prescribed. At Roman, no waiting rooms, no hassle, just straightforward experience from the comfort of your home. And if medication or testing is appropriate, we'll send it directly to your door, everything within 2 days. To learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/athletic to get 20% off your entire first order. Go to ro.co/athletic today.
Guys, let's talk about athletic greens.
Yes.
It's a pretty cool product. Says it right in the copy there. If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or have a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you gotta check out Athletic Greens. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And I personally was super diligent about taking my AG1 Athletic Greens. In the weeks leading up to my big trip, I went to Europe, 16 days. I was not going to get sick before or during that trip. Everybody else in this family, sniffles here, fever there. They all went down. Me? It was like wearing a shield, a protective coating over my immune system, my body, because I got nothing. I spent like 4 hours in the Winston Churchill war rooms. My family outside hacking and coughing, waiting. Where is this guy? I was like, it was great. It was awesome, and thank you, AG1. And I'm not a multivitamin guy. I don't want to take pill after pill. Have you seen people take handfuls of pill just all at once?
Yeah, that's me.
Really?
Yeah, no problem.
How?
I don't know. It's like my superpower. I'm pill man.
Amazing. I'm impressed.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
It's really weird.
Me, I'm a one sip. One sip. Athletic Greens, you don't need to do that. It's an elixir. You put it in water, shake it up, drink it down, you scull it, you chug it. And it makes you feel great. Did I mention that it supports better sleep quality and recovery and mental clarity and alertness? Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the cold and flu season. We're well into the cold and flu season at G Greens. It's one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Well, we've done it. New record for the No Dunks Boys, longest podcast of the season. Longest podcast in quite some time. I'd have to check the record books, but have we ever gone 2+ hours? Probably. But we got a whole block here.
We got a whole block.
It's not going to take long. We're
shorty.
just recapping our tiers. Let's take a look. Do we want to change anything after having 3 ads to listen to think about it?
Sorry, we can't. They're already graphic.
Oh, okay.
Our championship contenders, the NBA Finals tier, we got the Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Nuggets, Warriors, and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, quick question off of that.
Yes.
Which team that we have in our NBA Finals tier will we get the biggest pushback against? Will the fans go, not that team? Which one do you think it is the most? I think it's between the Sixers and then the Grizzlies.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But
not the Warriors.
I was going to say Warriors too, but
be some pushback.
Yeah, okay.
Next category, our final 4 flirts. We got the Nets and the Pelicans, 2 teams that we kind of are using as we're not sure what they're going to do here, but they're very talented teams.
Yeah, I like where we have them slotted in here. I like
too.
that we have 8 teams in those top 2 tiers.
That is nice.
It is making a little sense to us. I mean, I like that spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Our playoff lock teams are the Cavs, Heat, Knicks, Mavericks, Clippers, Suns, and the Sacramento Kings.
Hashtag light the beam.
Light the beam. Hashtag break the streak.
So I don't know if we're going to do this again, end of the year or whatever. It'd be a little weird, I guess, heading into the playoffs, knowing the matchups. But we're going to be wrong about 1, 2, maybe even 3 of these teams. Like, we're probably going to be drastically wrong either way, right? Cavs, Heat going on a massive second half run. Clippers fall apart. Suns continue to slide. Like something like that will happen. And I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I can't wait, Skeets.
Yeah.
All right, actually, there's 15 teams in our top 3 tiers.
So we need another one.
So we need one more team
in
our playoff lock.
Wow.
And it will come from the play-in potential category. Right now we got the Hawks, Bulls, Pacers, Raptors, Wizards, Lakers, Timberwolves, Thunder, Blazers, and Jazz.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why we're missing an Eastern Conference playoff lock, because look at those first 5 teams we said there in the play-in potential in the East. The Hawks, the Bulls, the Pacers, the Raps, and the Wizards. It's like, the Pacers have played the best of those 5, but how could you have confidence really in really any of those teams that we just listed there? So that's the tough part. That's why they're there, man.
That's why they're there. One of them could make a run.
Yeah. Probably our Raptors, man. They're not going to lose a game.
And our final group, the Area 51 teams in the mix for the alien Victor Wembanyama. We got the Hornets, Pistons, Magic, Rockets, and Spurs.
Yep, and right now, you look at Tankathon, those are the 5 worst teams in the league. It goes Houston, it goes Charlotte, it goes Detroit, it goes San Antonio, it goes Orlando, working from 1 to 5, You want me to sim this lottery
Give me
real
a quick sim. I look at Tankathon regularly, just to check. It's the best place for me to check remaining strength of schedule.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But every time I see it, I got to take a spin.
All right, I'm going to spin away, boys.
Spin away!
Sim lottery,
friend.
1 click, that's all. You're not going to believe who won this one. The Lakers won, but that doesn't mean they won. That means the New Orleans Pelicans are getting Wembanyama to pair with Zion, Ingram, McCollum, Daniels, Alvarado, Valanciunas. How could I forget him? Who else? I'm still missing guys.
Larry Nance.
There's the Dyson vacuum.
Yeah.
Devontae Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson.
Wow.
Hayes.
And if
Willie
you're really
Green.
curious, we had the Wizards 2nd,
Joel Myers.
Magic 3rd, Hawks 4th. So not a good sim for the really bad teams. Outside of maybe the Magic. That would be bad for the Rockets, the Hornets, and the Pistons all falling out. And Spurs all falling out there. Woo, that was fun.
Wow, that was fun.
You want to
David
keep
Griffin,
going?
Executive of the Year votes.
Oh,
if
wow,
that happens.
wow.
Just
Hell of a
because he
trade.
won the lottery.
Hell of a trade. Oh, yes.
And the trade.
All right, we'll call it there. You agree or disagree with our tiers, where we've slotted in all 30 teams? Let us know. I know you've been doing so in the stream team. Let us know in the YouTube comments. Tweet it in at NoDunksInc, or hell, if you're feeling really feisty, drop us an email, nodunks@theathletic.com. That was a long one. Thanks for sticking with us. I had a blast. I love this podcast.
I too had a blast.
Yeah, man, I like
Blast.
tiers. I like talking about every team, even if it's just for a little bit. Just a tiny little nugget. But we're back tomorrow. Drop podcast. Special guest Mike Prade is going to join us. So join us 10 a.m. Eastern live on YouTube. We'll flip that into a podcast as soon as possible. Man, have fun up in Toronto.
Oh, thanks.
Say hi to the boys.
You have fun here in Georgia.
Oh, we will indeed. Although it's tornado watch right now. So we should get out of here.
Yep.
Or hunker down in the Classic Factory.
It's kind of like a...
I feel safe in here.
Safe under the table, right? We got to go troll mode. Like Tess.
Record a
Get it out.
podcast under the table. Yeah, everybody stay safe here in Georgia with these tornado watchings. But we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. See you then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, there are no cows in Sacramento.
Really?
That's a myth.
Wow.
That's a
Says
myth.
moo.
Brace the day.